Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show.
Xiao Hu's desolate wolf howl resounded over the cold North Pole. As for Xiao Bai, due to the huge qi and blood value, he can barely support it. Looking at the seriously injured Xiao Wei and his cousin, it feels very uncomfortable. It still feels that it is too weak. Not to mention the strength of the Wolf King, as long as it grows to an adult stage. It can help the wolves as the main force to fight against the Reindeer King. At this time, Su Lin and Little Lone Wolf, who were still more than 200 miles away, were also very satisfied when they saw the 6 fruits sent by Yan Gaolan, a different flower black fruit. Now that a win-win situation has been achieved, the wolves are naturally obliged to protect the safety of Hygan Gaolan. After asking about the location of Hygan Gaolan agreed to be transplanted near the cave where Su Lin was. Hygan Gaolan could also feel the power of the majestic white wolf in front of him, which was unmatched by the alien lynx, or the little lone wolf. With the protection of the white wolf, Hygan Gaolan felt that there would be no problem with her safety. As for the fruit of pure energy, it is easier for exotic flowers and plants to obtain pure energy. You can rely on the roots, branches and leaves to absorb the mysterious energy released after the natural disaster. It's just that this energy is getting weaker and weaker in the world, and I'm afraid it will be absorbed in a few months. At that time, whether it is exotic flowers and plants or giant beasts, evolution will become slower again. At this time, Su Lin signaled to the little lone wolf to transplant Hygan Gaolan. Even if it is a different flower, transplanting it once is very debilitating, but for the sake of long-term safety in the future, Hygan Gaolan has no resistance. Instead, it emits black-purple fluorescence, assisting the little lone wolf to help him transplant. The sharp claws of the little lone wolf smashed the stone wall open. Now the attack power of the little lone wolf can also be called breaking the stone. Ordinary steel, with its strength and the sharpness of wolf claws, can penetrate it. Such a brutal transplanting action is definitely a dead end for ordinary plants. Fortunately, the different flower Hygan Gaolan is protected by a faint fluorescent light, so there is no serious problem. Later, when Su Lin howled to remind him, the little lone wolf's movements became more cautious. Su Lin's kindness made Hygan Gaolan shake its branches to express its gratitude. After a while, the little lone wolf gently pulled Hygan Gaolan out of the gap. A lot of pure energy diffused out of it. Under the intentional guidance of Hygan Gaolan, this pure energy rushed towards Su Lin, the little lone wolf, the wolf sister and the little gray and white wolf, who also came here. Little lone wolf, wolf sister, and gray little wolf all greedily absorbed this pure energy. But after arriving at Su Lin, when this energy just touched his wolf body, the tyrannical devouring power suddenly burst out. Not only was this pure energy quickly swallowed up, but even the pure energy from Hygan Gaolan, the source of energy, was plundered by the devouring power like a robber. This made the different flower Hygan Gaolan frantically shake its branches, and its body glowed black and purple. But it couldn't resist this tyrannical devouring force at all. You must know that this tyrannical devouring power can even melt the tentacles of the king squid, let alone a mere 13th level alien flower. Under the power of devouring, Hygan Gaolan felt the threat of death. It shook the branches in a hurry and made a rustling sound, as if begging for mercy from Su Lin. And Su Lin was also aware of his devouring power. This made him have no choice but to move forward, and quickly distanced himself from Hygan Gaolan. After leaving the pure energy source, this tyrannical devouring force gradually dissipated. But in just a short moment, Su Lin plundered at least half of the pure energy of Hygan Gaolan. Ding! The host eats the different flower Hygan Gaolan, and gains 7,500 evolution points. Ding! The host has obtained 7,000 evolutionary points after eating the different flower Hygan Gaolan. Ding! The host gained 6,500 evolution points after eating the different flower Hygan Gaolan. After Su Lin's devouring power disappeared, several light gray message prompts popped up in front of his eyes. Sure enough, the pure energy just devoured was not counted once. He directly obtained more than 20,000 evolutionary points in one breath. This huge evolutionary value is more than that given by the different flower iceberg lotus. It can be seen that the gene level of Hegongolan should be higher than that of Bingshanlian. At present, Surin is about to break through to level 15. Now every promotion, the strength improvement obtained is incomparably huge. In addition, there is also the acquisition of additional attribute values. Therefore, Su Lin's combat power is like pigs and dogs in killing alien species of the same level, and it is very easy to kill even 20 levels of alien species. As for those truly powerful alien species above level 30, Su Lin has never encountered them, except for the alien king squid, and the 2 giant iceberg lotus. Thinking about it, it should also have the power to fight. It evolved into a different species after the world changed drastically, and its normal level is around 10 levels. Those who evolved into different species before the great change of the world were only around 20 levels. Only when encountering some heaven-defying adventures will one break through this limit. As for the reason why Little Lone Wolf, Little Gray, and Wolf Sister are too low, it's just because they are cubs, and it takes time to grow up. In addition, it only swallowed some foreign flesh and blood, and did not obtain real pure energy. Otherwise, like the Little Lone Wolf, whenever he eats a few exotic fruits, his strength will increase rapidly. Next, Sulin waited for the devouring power to disappear before coming to the vicinity of Yuahaigan Galan again. It's just that this time the Haigan Galan is obviously very afraid of Sulin, and the branches are trembling slightly. But he didn't have any malice, and Sulin didn't want the devouring force just now. After all, Sulin still understands the difference between being able to obtain different flowers and fruits all the time in the future, and devouring them all in one go. Every meal is full. Even an ordinary wolf knows how to choose. And the strength of the wolf girl, and the little gray wolf, who absorbed a lot of pure energy of the different flower Haigan Galan, has also been greatly improved. They had just broken through to level 5, and they reached the peak of level 5 again, and those pure energy can still support their rapid growth in the next few days. As for the Little Lone Wolf, since his level was already very high, the scattered pure energy only slightly increased his strength. On the way to move the Haigan Galan back, Sulin also asked the Little Lone Wolf to ask about the living environment that the Haigan Galan needs. As for Haigan Galan, seeing that the white wolf didn't kill it directly, she also felt relieved. After all, the devouring power just now, it can feel too terrifying. I simply can't compete with it, and I can't resist it. Even the consciousness that was born with great difficulty seemed to be swallowed up. Fortunately, the white wolf got away from him immediately, otherwise, it would really disappear in a second or two. It shook its branches slightly, conveying that its environment only needs a safe and open environment. A closed environment is not conducive to its growth. After receiving the news, Sulin gave up his plan to have the different flower Haigan Galan and those few iceberg lotus seeds as companions. At this time, Sulin took the Little Lone Wolf, Wolf Sister, and Gray Little Wolf back to the cave while thinking about the location of Haigan Galan. After all, this is the only mature flower among the wolves, so we still need to pay attention. With the fruits it provides, not only can he obtain a large amount of evolutionary value, but even the strength of the wolves can be improved rapidly. While thinking, Sulin came to Father Wolf's territory in a short while, just when he was going to ask about the herd of reindeer on Father Wolf's territory. With his extremely keen hearing, Sulin could hear the howls of Little Hui and the pack of wolves 20 to 30 kilometers away. This long howling sound was desolate and sad, very much like the howling of that large wolf pack when I killed that large wolf pack under the snowy night. Hey, howling. Did something happen? There was some doubt in Sulin's golden brown eyes. It stands to reason that today's wolf pack territory is the safest. With hundreds of wolves and a dozen bears, most of the hunters in the territory have been unified. Even if there are alien species that have just invaded the territory, they have to consider whether they have the strength to face such a large-scale wolf pack. However, amidst the wailing of the wolves, Sulin's huge wolf body still had some murderous aura. At this time, the murderous aura rising from Sulin's body made Yuahaigan Galan dare not even make a rustling sound. It also made the wolf girl and the little gray wolf feel a little short of breath. As for the Little Lone Wolf, because of his vicious and murderous nature, he has no murderous intent towards his boss, and he is still within the acceptable range. It's just that it also instantly understood that something must have happened. Otherwise the boss wouldn't have a murderous look for no reason. Sulin decided to go back first to see what happened. With a low howl, he signaled the Little Lone Wolf to return to the cave with Yua, Wolf Sister and Gray Little Wolf. Then the speed of 230 to 40 meters per second was fully activated. Whoosh! The sound of friction with the air suddenly exploded. With a speed like wind and electricity, it disappeared from the sight of the wolves almost instantly. This speed made the Little Lone Wolf, who had already advanced to level 12 alien, still feel inexplicably shocked. The higher the strength, the more it can understand what the speed of its own boss means. This means that all the hunters in the North Pole may not even be able to react to the attack of their boss. With such speed, it is almost a luxury for opponents and prey to escape. More than 200 meters per second, which means that Sulin's peak speed has reached the point where a minute is more than 10 kilometers. The distance between Father Wolf's territory and the Surin cave is only 20 to 30 kilometers. With such a distance, Sulin only took less than 2 minutes to run at full speed. Following the howling of wolves and the strong smell of blood, he appeared in the middle of the pack like wind and lightning. Wow! Su Lin's huge wolf body stopped, bringing up countless splashes of ice and snow. The ice and snow splashed extremely high, flying all over the sky. In the flying ice and snow, Su Lin glanced around with his golden brown wolf eyes. Impressively, he saw the cousin lying on the ice and snow ground, gulping out blood. The look in the cousin's blue wolf eyes has gradually dimmed, and the whole wolf body is also twitching from time to time. That means she's dying. The cousin's loyalty to Su Lin is beyond doubt. Su Lin also values her loyal cousin very much. Even if a lot of flesh and blood of different species were wasted, the cousin must be piled up into a different species. But now he was injured to such an extent. This made the killing intent on Su Lin's body rise to the extreme in this instant. An earth-shattering howl of wolves exploded on the Arctic ice sheet like thunder. This caused all the wolves to look over, and they saw the invincible Wolf King with a body size of 7 or 8 meters. The terrifying killing intent rising wantonly from the Wolf King made every wolf clan feel like they were about to be torn apart by the killing intent. They didn't dare to make a sound, and even their breathing was stagnant. At this time, Su Lin walked towards his cousin step by step. Under the sunlight, the shadow of the wolf's body was stretched very long. Perhaps it was the howling of wolves just now, which caused another look in the cousin's eyes. Seeing Su Lin walking over, she wanted to struggle to get up, and howled to Su Lin to report what happened just now. But with the originally vigorous wolf body, even standing up is a luxury. Those limbs only scratched the ground slightly, but they were limp, and even the snow and ice on the ground could not draw a trace. After Su Lin walked over, looking at the seriously injured cousin, he wanted to find Xiao Hui to get angry. But with extremely keen senses, he could feel that Xiao Hui was also seriously injured. At this time, only Xiao Hui dared to approach the furious Su Lin. When it saw its boss appearing, it immediately howled sadly and asked the boss to save the cousin. Xiao Hui didn't have time to say, "What kind of tragic battle took place here?" Su Lin didn't ask, but just came to the cousin silently. The cousin wanted to howl and say something to him, but Su Lin stopped her. For his orders, the cousin has always obeyed. Su Lin knew that her cousin was seriously injured, but fortunately there were iceberg lotus in the cave. The life essence of one petal of iceberg lotus is enough to cure her and Xiao Hui. Although the two of them have no merit, they should not share the iceberg lotus. But after all, from the very beginning, after his rebirth, he followed his wolf clan. Su Lin grabbed his cousin's neck silently, and then returned to the cave step by step. Seeing the Wolf King full of murderous intent, many wolf clans silently began to clean up the battlefield. Some of the wolves also left with the corpses of their close companions in grief. And on the way back to the cave, Xiao Hui also howled intermittently. He told his boss what happened to the wolves' territory during the short time he was away. After hearing Xiao Hui's report, Su Lin's golden brown eyes were still calm. It's just that after calming down, the endless killing intent of Senhen is suppressed. Attack of the reindeer herd. Su Lin never thought of a group of cowardly herbivores will one day rebel against the wolves under the leadership of the reindeer leader. In fact, apart from adhering to the law of respecting the strong, the wolves still attach great importance to their fellow wolves. Facing the attack of the reindeer group, more than 20 wolves were seriously injured or killed, so this is a blood debt. In the cruel nature, blood debts are always paid with blood. Escape to the north. Su Lin stopped for a while and looked sideways at the even colder north. In a pair of golden brown pupils, there was no wave in the slightest, like the cold pool of an ancient well, but he knew that the wolves were first established, and facing the rebellion of the reindeer. All the wolves were waiting for a reaction from the Wolf King, especially under the unwilling grief and indignation, even though hundreds of wolves did not even howl. But they all looked at the Wolf King from a distance. As long as the Wolf King gave an order, they could follow the Wolf King for hundreds of miles and kill the reindeer herd to the point of extinction. Su Lin returns with the pack of wolves. The wolves who cleaned the battlefield also dragged more than 30 reindeer carcasses back to the cave. In this battle, it seems that the wolves also captured a lot of reindeer. But as a hunter, hunting reindeer, a dietary prey, should not reduce staff. But it was also mainly because the Deer King was too tyrannical, which caused the deer to rush out of the wolves hunting. At this time, the morale of the wolves was slightly low. Fortunately, the Wolf King came back, and the pack of wolves had a backbone. Many times in the icy and snowy Arctic ice sheets, wolves hug each other to keep warm. And a powerful Wolf King can make the wolf clan under his command feel more secure, and can also make the wolf pack more cohesive. They won't just disperse after 1 or 2 failures. At this time, Su Lin looked at the wolves under his command. A wolves of this size would definitely stand at the top of the food chain in the cold North Pole. being able to break through the siege consisting of more than 300 wolves and more than 10 bears. It can be said that the Reindeer King really has strength that cannot be underestimated. It should be an existence that evolved into a different species before the world changed drastically. Coupled with Xiao Hui's description, it has a body size of meters, which means it will weigh at least several tons. Once the hunt is successful, the rich flesh and blood of the different species can provide Su Lin with a lot of evolutionary value. Even the wolves can get a lot of it. So for the Reindeer King and the herd of deer that fled to the north, they must be killed. But for now, Su Lin still has to heal his cousin first. As a different species, Xiao Hui has tenacious vitality, and this injury can't kill it. But the cousin is different. After returning to the cave, the cousin's eyes were about to lose their luster. This made Su Lin leap forward, and took down a piece of iceberg lotus petal from the high rock wall of the cave. Then he crushed the iceberg lotus petals with his fangs, put more than half of it into the cousin's wolf mouth, and signaled for Xiao Wei to swallow the rest. This iceberg lotus is the iceberg lotus in the mysterious ice palace, and it has attributes of more than 20 levels. So the pure energy and life essence contained in it are huge. As soon as the piece of iceberg lotus reached the cousin's mouth, turned into a glistening white light, and rushed towards the cousin's limbs and bones. The cousin's bones and internal organs, which were shattered by the force, gradually recovered under this white light. This white light also nourished the cousin's wolf body, and strengthened her strength. The pure energy contained in the petals of the iceberg lotus far exceeds that of flesh and blood. Turned out that after the cousin devoured hundreds of caddies of alien flesh and blood, she was faintly about to evolve into an alien species. Now, under the nourishment of this pure energy, the cousin immediately evolved into a different species. Buzz. The xenogenic form of pure energy nourishment is far less painful than the xenogenic serum, so the process of the cousin's evolution into a different species was not as miserable as that of the wolf father. With a buzzing sound, the wolf's body shook slightly. Under the nourishment of this shining white light, the cousin began to subtly strengthen. The heterogeneity is an improvement on the genetic level. After evolving into a heterogeneous species, not only the strength will be greatly enhanced, but also the abilities in all aspects will be greatly enhanced. IQ, vitality, resistance to blows, sharpness of claws and fangs, flexibility of limbs, etc. Therefore, it doesn't take much effort for a different species of the same level to kill an ordinary species of the same level. After watching the cousin's breath of life gradually stabilize, Su Lin stopped watching. This wave of cousins is also a blessing in disguise. With the nourishment of the iceberg lotus fragments, presumably, not only can it evolve into a heterogeneous species, but it will also usher in a period of rapid development later on. As for Xiao Hui at the side, after swallowing the other half of the iceberg lotus fragments, his injuries are also recovering rapidly, and his strength is also increasing. Xiao Hui's aura quickly broke through to level 8, and it was still growing. Su Lin also nodded to his cousin, and Xiao Hui's increase in strength. Both of them are the ones who have followed me for the longest time. Naturally, there is no need to say much about loyalty, and the improvement of strength will also help me a lot. As for the remaining iceberg lotus petal and 12 Hygen Gallon fruits, Su Lin planned to swallow a few Hygen Gallon fruits by himself. The rest are rewarded by the wolves. Soon, the little lone wolf came back with Wolf's sister and Gray Little Wolf. Su Lin signaled to the little lone wolf to plant the different flowered Hygen Gallon on the back mountain of the cave. It is quiet and open, which is the living environment required by Hygen Gallon. Next, Su Lin began to think about the Reindeer King. Migrate to the north. This made him frown slightly. It stands to reason that the north is colder, and most areas are ice sheets, where shrubs, grasses and moss are more expensive and scarce, and the food that hundreds of reindeer need to consume is definitely a huge amount. This made Su Lin quickly think of a possibility, and then a gleam flashed in his eyes. There must be some food rich in pure energy in the north. Otherwise the Deer King would not migrate to the north with the reindeer herd. This made Su Lin more determined to take the wolves on an expedition to the north. Anyway, the hunters in this area have almost been cleared. It is enough to leave 30 or 50 wolves to patrol the territory. The rest of the wolves ran straight to the distance, not only for revenge, but also to see what is there in the north. Not to mention any great adventures. Even if 1 or 2 different flowers are harvested, it will have an evolutionary value of at least tens of thousands. Even the wolves can get a lot of benefits. Thinking in this way, Su Lin stood up and began to scan the pack of wolves. With a low howl, he signaled the wolves to drag out 10 reindeer meat to eat. Although the wolves suffered a lot in today's battle, it at least meant that the gathered wolves had gained initial cohesion and combat power. You won't be defeated when you encounter a strong enemy. So these 10 or so reindeer are the extra meal for the wolves today. All. After Surin signaled the wolves to start eating, immediately, 200 or 300 wolves responded with long howls. The joy of extra meals also dilutes the low atmosphere of some wolves. Food is the most important thing for wolves besides life. To survive, food is also essential. Facing the newly obtained food, many wolves began to fight for it. Many of them have fierce biting and fighting, but the competition for food among the wolves has already become the norm. The strong are respected. Strong wolves naturally want to enjoy more food. Regarding this point, Su Lin didn't want to change it. After all, for the wolves, superficial humility is never what they want. Want is wild. It's fierce, because in the cruel nature, only hunters who are fierce enough can survive better. But the biting and fighting of the wolves, with the gaze of the Wolf King, was not too much. After deciding the winner, many strong wolves began to give priority to food. Su Lin also paid special attention to these winning wolves. It was found that one of the wolves was the most majestic and conspicuous. Surin had some impressions of this wolf clan. It was a wandering lone wolf that came here when the wolf pack expanded. This wolf is also the first level 6 peak Arctic wolf to defect to the wolves. It can be said that among ordinary species, the wolf clan that can grow to the peak strength of level 6 has good growth potential, and this wolf clan has been promoted to level 7 after devouring the given alien flesh and blood. The breath on his body also has the breath of evolution to a different species. It can be seen that when the energy of the alien flesh and blood in the body is completely digested, it will officially evolve into an alien species. This made Su Lin nod his head. It has to be said that after this large-scale distribution of different kinds of flesh and blood, the overall strength of the wolf pack has been improved by leaps and bounds. He planned to wait for the strength of the wolves and Xiao Hui and his cousin's promotion this time, and after they were completely consolidated, he would lead the wolves to expedition to the north. Hundreds of wolves and more than 10 bears. This is definitely a vast and powerful force in the Arctic ice field. Since there is an adventure in the north, then by the way, he also ruled the northern territory. Su Lin has a thinking different from that of human beings, and knows how to place and station wolves on the territory, so that wolves will not gather together in a swarm. This will allow wolves to rule over a larger area. In this thought, Su Lin also looked up to the north, and there was ambition and killing intent boiling in his wolf eyes. And this time, what Su Lin didn't know was that a young musk ox, with a broken leg, was devouring the moss and shrubs on the ground within the territory of the wolves. It devours tirelessly, and has already eaten up the nearby moss and shrubs. For 3 days and 3 nights, eating without sleep, the musk oxen felt a little panicked. Even the mother of the young musk ox wanted to come up to comfort her child. Even if Su Lin saw this scene, he still had no impression of the little musk ox. But if the little lone wolf comes, he will immediately recognize that it is the little musk ox that was cruelly pulled out from the musk ox herd when he followed the pack of wolves for the first time hunting. At the beginning, this little musk ox was used to disrupt the formation of the musk ox herd. Now the musk ox herd has already dueled a new musk ox leader, and the musk ox leader naturally occupies the females in the musk ox herd. It is now the estrus season, and the leader of the musk ox has also begun to mate aggressively, preparing to reproduce his offspring. The mother of the young musk ox is naturally among them. The little musk ox wanted to defend its mother, but was severely taught by the musk ox leader just a few days ago. After that, the young musk ox began to eat like crazy. The mother thought the calf had been stimulated and wanted to comfort it. Mo! The low howling of the musk ox sounded, and the mother rubbed the neck of the young musk ox with the head of the ox. But soon, when she saw the blood-red eyes of the little musk ox, she was taken aback. In addition, she could also feel that the size of the little musk ox had grown a lot in just a few days. At present, its size is not inferior to itself. The swaying aura on her body made her feel bursts of heartache. It was at this time that the little musk ox finally stopped eating and roared to the sky. Mo! The roar of the bull echoes in the cold North Pole. The horns of this little musk ox have also become extremely sharp. The thick cowhide on its body has become tougher, and its limbs have become more flexible. Its blood-red bull eyes first looked at the mother, then he turned around, raised the bull's head, and looked at the strong leader of the musk ox in the herd of musk ox. There was a trace of resentment and killing intent in the eyes. It should have been the leader of the musk ox herd, and so should all the female musk ox. Mo! With an angry roar, with a pair of sharp horns on its head, this little musk ox slammed viciously at the leader of the musk ox, who was enjoying the service of the female ox. The musk ox's leg, which was bitten off, has fully recovered. During the wild run, he brought out the courageous flames of indomitable courage, and even the running speed was much faster than usual. The hooves of the cows are stepping on the snow, and the ice and snow are splashing in all directions. Mo, the leader of the muskox, also quickly got out of his comfortable state. But a trace of panic was unavoidable in his ox eyes. It never thought that this little guy with a broken leg would dare to attack him. And how did that leg come back? With a very low IQ, it couldn't understand it, but it still stared at the huge bull's eyes, swung its horns angrily and started to fight back. Pung! The two collided hard together. The sharp horns of common muskox are not sharp. In the violent impact this time, the sharp horns of the leader of the muskox failed to make any contribution. Instead, a pair of sharp horns of the little muskox directly pierced the scalp, bringing out two deep bloodstains. Those horns were so sharp that the leader of the muskox went crazy in pain. Mo! The frantic cry of the muskox leader resounded, but the attack of the little musk-ox didn't stop in the slightest, and it hit again hard, directly hitting the neck of the muskox leader. Po! The sound of flesh being pierced. The little muskox also knocked out 2 wounds on the neck of the muskox leader. Generally speaking, when muskoxen compete for status in the herd, if the battle reaches this point, there will be a result. Both sides will also stop. But the little muskox, whose mind was filled with killing intent, had no intention of stopping at all, and continued to violently hit the leader of the muskox. Po! The sound of flesh being pierced by sharp horns resounds from time to time. As for the other members of the muskox herd, watching this scene, there was a trace of panic in the eyes of the bulls. A full 10 minutes of impact. Even though the leader of the muskox had surrendered miserably and howled, the little muskox still didn't stop, until the leader of the muskox, which was more than 2 meters in size, fell to the ground. It was still hitting fiercely. The head, eyes, and neck of the muskox leader were smashed to the point of a lake of flesh and blood. And this muskox leader, who had just enjoyed a few months of good life, just died on the ice field. Blood is flowing wantonly. At this time, the little muskox gave a long roar, declaring that it is the winner of this duel. It's just that the eyes of many musk-oxen looking at it are full of panic and fear. After all, the bravery of the muskox herd is aimed at the enemy, and it is rare for them to be so cruel to their own race. Now the little muskox gradually calmed down after venting his killing intent. Looking at the scene in front of it, it was surprised that it actually did it. What shocked him even more was that his broken leg also recovered. In addition, it can also feel the surging power in its body. This power made him feel very happy, but it didn't rejoice for too long, and suddenly thought that in this area, the wolf clan is the absolute overlord. Soon the group of vicious and cunning wolves will come to inspect my place again. It was afraid that just after it gained great strength, it would be noticed by the wolves and hunted down for food. It has evolved into a different species. Not only has its strength become stronger, but its IQ has also improved a lot. Although it has gained a lot of power at this time, the fear of being wolves has already penetrated deep into its heart. After all, once the terrifying pack of wolves starts hunting, they will do everything they can. At this time, it defeated the previous leader of the muskox, and naturally became the new leader. But out of fear of wolves, it just wanted to escape here. However, it is impossible to migrate to the south. In order to prevent the territorial prey from migrating back to the south, wolves patrol the south most frequently. Therefore, the little muskox stared at its huge eyes, and decided to wait for the wolves to come to visit again, and then quietly move to the north with the muskox herd. Even though it is colder over there is always a chance of survival. Time is like running water, passing by in a hurry. In the blink of an eye, it was several days, and it was gone in a flash. Polar night has also officially descended on this area. The darkness of night covers everything. The various ethnic groups that originally planned to migrate away were forced to stay in the cold North Pole due to the wolves driving them away. The wolves drove these herbivorous species into several caves, where they can escape the cold if they live in groups. Besides, there are also a lot of shrubs and moss around the cave, which can last for a while. At that time, if these herbivorous species can't persist, they can only hunt and kill them for food. But Surin still hopes that these species can survive. After all, with the great changes in the world, I don't know if there will be new prey migrating over after the polar night. These days, in addition to sending wolves to drive the prey to the cave, Surin also swallowed 2 fruits of Hyguyan Gallon again. Ding! The host eats the different flower Hyguyan Gallon, and gains 5,500 evolution points. Ding! The host eats the different flower black fruit Yan Gallon, and gains 5,000 evolution points. He gained tens of thousands of evolutionary points again. All. An earth-shattering wolf howl resounded under the extreme night, where everything was lonely. Along with the howling of wolves, Su Lin also felt that mysterious energy of evolution coming again. This mysterious energy lasted longer and longer, This time it lasted for more than an hour before it was fully absorbed. With the strengthening of time, the strength bonus brought is also obvious. In this evolution, Su Lin's body size has reached 6.78 meters without the wolf tail, and nearly 9 meters with the thick wolf tail. 9 meters. Such a body is already the size of a bus. Su Lin's shoulder height has also reached an astonishing 3 meters, and if the wolf's head is counted, it is close to 4 meters, which is a full floor high. Behemoth. A well-deserved behemoth. Name, Surin. Species, Arctic wolf. Gene level, I. Level 15. Upgrading requires 320,000 evolution points. Vitality, 4,700. Stamina, 410. Strength, 440. Defense, 420. Speed, 630. Additional attribute points, 60. Evolution value, 3,950. Talents, Hunting, Level C. Stealth, Level B. Healing, Level A. Su Lin's strength has greatly improved in this promotion. From level 14 to level 15, each attribute value has been increased by 60 points. This kind of strength improvement is worthy of the huge evolution value. The blood value is approaching 5,000. With such a huge blood value, even that alien grizzly can rival it. Speed has always been Su Lin's strong point. It was also relying on speed that it rushed out of the king squid and the mysterious iceberg. So looking at the 60 additional attribute values, it was added to the speed again. This allowed him to reach a speed value of 690 directly. With a speed value of 690, he could run at an infinitely close to 300 meters per second without turning on his hunting talent. 300 meters per second. Such a speed is simply not something that normal species can react to. Even alien species with extreme senses may not be able to react. After turning on the hunting talent, it even reached an astonishing 600 meters per second. This speed has approached Mach 2. Even faster than the speed of many human fighter planes crisscrossing the sky. Even a lot of gun bullets are only a few hundred meters per second. It can be said that Su Lin's strength has reached an unprecedented level. The defensive power of the wolf body has also become extremely astonishing. A body of pure white and flawless hair, once in a defensive state, can become harder than steel unless some armor-piercing bombs, high-explosive bombs, etc., can break through Surin's defense. The power value has reached 440. Which means that the power of Su Lin's right claw will soar to about 650 after being strengthened. With a full blow, it will be able to burst out an attack power of up to 10 tons or more. With such unparalleled attack power, not to mention ordinary hunters, even polar bears can be killed with one blow. In addition to the substantial improvement in Su Lin's strength, the strength of the wolves has also improved significantly these days. Relying on the energy of the iceberg lotus petals, the little lone wolf was promoted to level 13. And his strength was no less than that of the gray and white wolf king back then. Xiao Hui and cousin also both broke through to level 10. Among them, Xiao Hui's unlocked talent is lurking, which was once performed by the purple xenomorph lynx. Lurking can increase Xiao Hui's speed by 70%, completely disappearing his aura, and his body will merge with the surrounding environment for as long as 15 minutes. Whether it is escaping or attacking, it is a very good talent. The talent unlocked by the cousin is healing. This talent is similar to the talent of the wolf-headed wolf in Kenny Mountain in the mysterious iceberg. It is a healing talent. It's just that the cousin's healing talent can't take effect on the group, but the cooldown is much shorter, and it can be cast every 3 hours. These days, the wolf girl and the gray and white little wolf, relying on the pure energy of the alien flower, Hygen Gallon a few days ago, have been promoted to the peak level 7, and they are faintly breaking through to the 8th level alien species. This strength is considered very strong among wolves, because Xiaobai didn't get the reward of the pure energy of the different flower fruit. These days he just swallowed the flesh and blood of the different species, and reached the late stage of level 6. It can be regarded as the existence with the lowest strength among a group of heterogeneous species in the current pack of wolves. Except for them, after distributing the flesh and blood of the alien species in large numbers, 3 new alien species finally appeared. One of them is of the bear family, and 2 of the wolf family. Su Lin is also very familiar with this bear family. It is the docile grizzly bear back then. After eating 20 catties of different species of flesh and blood, it evolved into a different species. This shows that the grizzly's growth potential is not evil, but it is not bad. This grizzly reached level 13. 13's alien grizzly bear is also very strong, and its talent is defense. Not only will the defensive power double and explode, but even the hair and flesh will become harder than steel. This alien grizzly bear, Su Lin gave it the code name Wengso, responsible for assisting Xiaobai in leading the bear clan. The remaining 2 wolves, after evolving into alien species, have evolved into level 7 alien species one after another. Su Lin also gave them a code name respectively. The first level 6 peak wolf clan to join the wolf pack was given the codename Fan Wolf. At the beginning, he dared to go to the territory of the bear clan to poach food only by relying on the physique of the ordinary wolf clan, and he came out alive, which shows his boldness and carefulness. The remaining wolf clan is code-named Broken-Eared Wolf, because one of its ears was bitten off in a previous fight. After evolving into a different species, the ears are only half reborn, and they also have a fierce nature. When these 2 new alien wolf clans were conquering the large wolf pack in the west, he also made a lot of contributions, and was promoted to the position of Yilang by Su Lin, belonging to Little Lone Wolf. This made Fan Lang and Connor Lang howl at Su Lin excitedly. After all, the position of Wolf B is quite rich in gold among wolves. More food can be allocated, and even after making greater contributions, they can also be rewarded by the Wolf King himself. With their 2 assistants, the Little Lone Wolf is better able to lead the pack of wolves. Among the entire wolf pack, the strength is unprecedentedly strong. Alien species emerge in large numbers. It can be said that all the alien species, within the territory of tens of thousands of square kilometers, are concentrated in the wolves of Surin. If the wolf father and wolf mother are counted, there will be as many as 11 aliens under Su Lin's command. 11 aliens. Now Su Lin feels that if the wolves develop for a while, even those canny mountain wolves, who walk out of the mysterious iceberg, will have the capital to fight. The heterogeneous is the darling of the world today. Only by becoming a heterogeneous can there be unlimited possibilities for future growth. However, Surin's evolutionary path is different from that of other species, and his evolutionary path is more difficult. Only the genetic flesh that devours all things is needed to reach the top step by step. But at the same time, the combat power it brings is far beyond that of other species. Currently, in addition to heterogeneous, after the whole pack of wolves consumed the flesh and blood of the different species, their strength also improved a lot. The cousin leads more than 130 female wolves, half of which have broken through level 5, and the rest are in the middle and late stages of level 4. Those female wolves with only level 3 attributes and female wolves with only level 4 attributes are gone. The Little Lone Wolf still commands most of the male wolves, and ordinary male wolves reach level 5 when they reach adulthood. However, the strength of these male wolves is now at the end of level 5 or at the peak, and even a third of them have broken through to level 6. And Su Lin also selected a group of elite wolves from the male wolves to act as personal guards. This batch of elite wolves must be at least late level 6 and peak strength. A total of more than 20 heads were selected, led by Xiao Hui. At this time, under the polar night, under the mountain where the cave is located, all the wolf clans have completely gathered. They all raised their wolf heads high and looked at the entrance of the cave above the high mountain. A total of more than 300 wolves stood silently without making a sound. No matter who saw this scene, it might be unbelievable, but it really happened. The air in this area seems to be filled with the sense of killing before the war. There are more than 10 bears standing in front of the wolf pack, and the momentum of the huge bears rising is very tyrannical. Then Su Lin's huge wolf body approaching 9 meters slowly appeared at the entrance of the cave, and a pair of golden brown eyes looked at the wolves below. There are many wolves in the wolf clan looking at the wolf king. Their eyes are full of fanaticism. The wolves all have night eyes, and the pitch black night cannot block their sight. The Little Lone Wolf, who is the head wolf, also followed, standing beside Su Lin. Immediately afterwards, all the alien species in the wolf pack also appeared. Cousin, Little Hui, Wolf Sister, Gray Little Wolf, Little White, Wen Xiong, Fan Lang, Broken Ear. The peak lineup of the wolf pack, fully converged. But today, Su Lin plans to lead his wolf tribe to drive hundreds of miles to the north. As for the wolf father, wolf mother and their wolves, they are regarded as the left-behind wolf clan, and take care of the territory. Under the extreme night, Su Lin inspected the wolves under his command, and then let out a long howl. All, accompanied by this huge wolf howl like thunder, the whole pack of wolves boiled in an instant. The howling of wolves echoed over the area. The aura of the entire wolf pack reached its peak at this moment. All howling wolves repeatedly express a meaning: kill all. They want to avenge that blood feud a few days ago. Even if that deer herd fled to the colder north, they would follow the wolf king and kill them to the point of extinction. Su Lin looked at the boiling wolves, and let the Little Lone Wolf lead the wolves towards the north. The peak speed of the wolves can reach 50 to 60 kilometers per hour, but it will take a lot of energy, so don't plan to let them travel too fast. After all, A long-distance battle is not like being in a territory you can rest when you are tired. In the icy and snowy field, it is necessary to maintain the peak combat effectiveness at all times. The little lone wolf held low to accept the order, and began to lead the wolves to swarm away. As for Su Lin, he went to see Father Wolf and Mother Wolf. They are the people closest to him after being reborn as wolves, so he was going to send some of the Hygen Gallon fruit to the wolf father and mother wolf. The growth potential of both of them is not weak, and there are currently more than 20 wolves under their command, but it is enough to patrol the territory alone. After arriving at the cave where the wolf father and mother wolf were, the two of them came out early. After all, after evolving into a heterogeneous species, their sense of smell and hearing have become much sharper. If Su Lin didn't hold back his breath, they could smell their cubs a few kilometers away. At present, the strength of wolf father and wolf mother has made a small improvement by eating different kinds of flesh and blood. It's just far less fast than the pure energy from devouring exotic flowers and plants. Su Lin handed 4 pieces of Hygen Gallon fruit to wolf father and wolf mother, signaling them to swallow them by themselves. The pure energy contained in these 4 fruits is enough for father and mother wolf, and they have improved rapidly during this period of time. As alien species, they can naturally smell the pure energy contained in this fruit. Immediately, they were also very pleasantly surprised, howling again and again. They are already 100% convinced of their cubs. Especially the wolf father and wolf mother looked at the cub who had grown up again, and had grown into a giant beast, and his eyes were full of relief. After the wolf father and wolf mother received the black fruit, Yin Gallon, Su Lin also told the wolf father to remember to let the wolves patrol the territory. If there is any major change, go to the north to inform yourself. Wolf father and wolf mother have led the wolf pack for many years, and they often patrol and guard the territory, so Su Lin felt relieved to hand them over. In fact, this is also because of Su Lin's selfishness. After all, most of the hunters in the wolf pack's territory have been cleared out, and there is almost nothing that can threaten the safety of wolf parents and mothers. But the expeditions abroad are different. This trip to Surin is not sure what level of hunters and opponents they will encounter. The reindeer king who became a different species before the world changed was enough to pose a fatal threat to the wolf father and wolf mother. So out of safety considerations for wolf parents and mothers, they were allowed to stay behind. Next, after Su Lin explained everything, he didn't stay for long. After all, the northern expansion and conquest of the wolves, without him in charge, the wolves would lose their backbone after all. After Su Lin bid farewell to his father and mother, he ran towards the pack of wolves. The speed of 300 meters per second, although it has not yet reached the speed of sound, can also bring out a huge sound of air friction in the air. The wolves were not moving fast, and Surin quickly caught up. When the many wolves looked at the huge wolf king, they howled again. The howling of hundreds of wolves, gathered together, caused all the species along the way to hide in their lairs shivering. After all, such a large-scale dispatch of wolves is rarely encountered by all species in the Arctic region. This made them feel as if the might of God had descended upon the wolves' overwhelming aura and ferocious flames. In addition, compared with other species, wolves with stronger endurance and strong hunger resistance are more suitable for long-distance expeditions. Before the wolves came out, they had already had a full meal. This is enough to support them without eating for more than half a month. So if this crusade can be resolved within half a month, there is no need to worry about the food for the wolves. If it took more than half a month, then Su Lin could only lead the pack of wolves and kill them wherever they went. Support war with war. This time not only to kill the rebellious deer, but also to expand the territory and to create an invincible iron-blooded wolf pack. Only by fighting and killing can the strength of the wolves grow faster. All. At this time, the long howling of wolves resounded in this cold area from time to time, and the wolf eyes of hundreds of wolves were full of excitement. Excitement and fanaticism. Wolves are natural hunters. This kind of hunting on an unprecedented scale made the blood in their bodies boil even more. Su Lin was in the middle of the wolf pack, followed by cousin, Little Gray, wolf sister, Little Gray Wolf, Little White, and when shown, the little lone wolf is a little further ahead, leading Fan Lang and Broken Ear to fight in the vanguard. Su Lin's golden brown wolf eyes flickered to the north of the forest. A few days ago, the patrolling female wolf also came to report that another herd of musk oxen wanted to defect to the north, but most of them were intercepted, and only 2 or 3 fled here and there. Among them was a musk ox with incomparable strength and sharp horns, so it should be a strange species. With the current prestige of the wolves in this territory, those who dare to resist are ruthless characters like alien species. This made Su Lin look forward to the trip to the north even more. The different species of musk ox, and the different species of reindeer, will all become the prey of this expedition by the wolves. In addition, since he led the wolves here, if there is any adventure in the Northern Territory, then he and the wolves must join in the fun and add some blood and excitement to the cold North Pole. At this time, when Su Lin led the wolves to expand to the north, all parts of the world have already been turned upside down. Countless human beings' peak scientific and technological powers swarmed out from human fortresses or cities that were not affected by natural disasters. With the alien species that have been monitored in various places, they are currently engaged in the most peak duel. Since many of the latest high-tech armed forces need the help of networks and satellites, emergency repairs have also been carried out for the networks and satellites that have been paralyzed in various places under natural disasters. At present, except for some areas with rare human settlements, the signal in most human settlements has been fully restored. The power supply and heating equipment have also been sorted out, and the ruined city is also in full swing. Judging from the current situation, although human beings were defeated in front of some powerful alien species, they still achieved brilliant results. Some weak alien species were either torn apart or captured by human technological killers. More were captured and given to some powerful figures to enjoy. After all, heterogeneous flesh and blood is too rare, and it is currently the rarest and most expensive resource in the world. The black market in many places has reached the point where each gram of heterogeneous flesh can be exchanged for $8,000. This price is even more insane because with the advent of natural disasters, the order in many places collapsed, and many places began to only accept US dollars. Therefore, the purchasing power of US dollars is still very strong in the current society. It is also because of this price that many new humans work harder to hunt and kill alien species. There are also many new human teams formed by private individuals, and all forces are against this kind of team because the teams formed by new humans are too powerful, which will affect the rule of their major forces. But it didn't stop after all. This makes the major new human clans, whether civil or military, begin to show their presence in various places. Of course, in the face of the threat of human beings, the alien species with not low intelligence have also begun to join forces. Bears, tigers, lynxes, etc., who used to live alone have also started to live in groups. All kinds of species, all kinds of forces, are colliding fiercely in the current era, after the world has undergone great changes. During this period, humans have also issued a ranking of the danger index of alien beasts, based on months of monitoring and real combat performance. This list covers all the powerful alien species currently known, and it has also caused great waves all over the world. Not only are the major forces offering huge rewards for the flesh and blood of these powerful alien species, but the Science Alliance is also inviting powerful new human teams to collect these alien genes for research. Ranking of Alien Beast Risk Index. First place, Mysterious Sea Monster. Unknown combat power. Located in the deep sea, the record is that he has repeatedly shredded several nuclear-powered submarines equipped with powerful fish missiles, and the danger index is 10 stars. Second place, Bloodthirsty Python. The latest body size is close to 200 meters. Its own combat power index is 10 stars. Ranking in India, there are millions of snakes under its command, and the ethnic group's combat power is 10 stars. The record is hunting down many heavy armor divisions in India, devouring tens of thousands of humans, occupying multiple cities to feed on humans, and the danger index is 10 stars. Third place, Super Fast Golden Wither. The latest body size is about 15 meters. Its own combat power index is 10 stars, and it ranks in the sky. His records include hunting a rabid bear, with a height of more than 10 meters, destroying more than 26th generation strongest fighter planes in the sky, and destroying hundreds of helicopters. Fourth place, the terrifying crocodile. The latest body size is close to 70 meters. Its own combat power index is 10 stars, and it is in the shallow sea. His achievements include hunting several blue whales, being able to dive into the deep sea, and being able to enter the land. Once 3 guard ships besieged and killed alligators, they were directly destroyed. The danger index was 9.5 stars. Fifth place, Lion King of West Africa, with a 9-star combat power index, ranking in West Africa. With thousands of lions under his command, many lions with terrifying combat power, and a 10-star group combat power index. The record is that he fought head-to-head with the African Union in more than a dozen tough battles, winning and losing each other. At least hundreds of the latest tanks and hundreds of fighter planes were destroyed, and tens of thousands of elite fighters were hunted down. The danger index was 9.5 stars. Sixth place, Jaguar. The latest body size is 8 meters. Its own combat power is 9.5 stars. ranking in the Americas. The record is that several heavy armored regiments have hunted and killed all of them. The jaguar is invincible, and the speed is suspected to have reached the speed of sound. However, all the prey that is targeted are not spared, come and go without a trace, and the danger index is 9.5 stars. 7th place, heavy tank brown bear. Its own combat power is 9.5 stars. Ranking in Kodiak. He once fought tens of thousands of heavily armored soldiers in the Americas, and won in the end. He has a violent personality, invincible defense, and a 9.5 star danger index. As soon as this list was released, it caused intense discussion and amazement. Now that the signal has just been restored, the network is still mostly used by the military, so there is no intense discussion on the network. But many people still question this list in private. Among them was Rodney, the colonel leader, who once hunted the invincible tiger in the southern border of Siberia. He looked at the list, slapped it on the table and cursed that invincible tiger didn't even make the top 20. How could it be possible? More than half of my soldiers were killed or injured, but I couldn't capture it. In the end, it broke through again. It broke through again. That's for a monster. Monster. The several adjutants beside him looked at the furious Rodney, and could only remain silent without saying a word. Although they all witnessed the ferocious flames of that invincible tiger, they never doubted the authority of this list. After all, the records on this list all show the strength of the alien species on the list. This is a heterogeneous species all over the world. Anyone who can be on the list, without exception, is not a monster among monsters. Even many alien species have to have great adventures. As for the invincible tiger, it disappeared after breaking through the encirclement. It was briefly detected by satellites, and it seems to have gone to the northern border of Siberia. I don't know if they are joining the local tiger clan, or they broke into the North Pole with some alien species. The northernmost border of Siberia has entered the range of the Arctic Circle, where it is affected by a terrifying cold current. So far, there has been no signal, and the forces of all parties dare not set foot. So I don't know the final whereabouts of that invincible tiger. In addition to Rodney, many people are discussing this strange beast ranking. What's the situation? The jaguar, which is only 8 meters long, can occupy the 6th place? Do you understand the speed of sound? What is the concept of more than 300 meters per second? And is 8 meters small? It can be seen that the combat power of alien beasts may not be judged by their size. That's right. The golden bird is only 15 meters long. Isn't it still invincible? Is it the terrifying alligator that dares to bar its teeth? Or the West African lions? Just grab it at a height of tens of thousands of meters and throw it down, and you will be maimed if you don't die. Are you sure Jin Qiao can catch a 70-meter-long alligator? I'm afraid I haven't seen Jin Ya's combat power upstairs. The ***** air battle once explained everything. Go and see the speculations of various forces on the value of Jinyu. Just when this strange beast list caused an uproar, the wolves under Su Lin's command were marching towards the north of Senhen. Surin naturally doesn't know about the powerful alien species on this list, but he has strong confidence in his own combat power. Currently, he has almost no single enemy in the North Pole. Even the alien species catalyzed by pure energy in the mysterious iceberg can be hunted and killed in a short time, but he never underestimated the aliens. As the darling of the new era, after the great change of the world, there will definitely be some extremely monstrous or strange aliens who have achieved rapid improvement. But the more powerful the alien species, the more motivation Su Lin has to hunt and kill. After all, the more powerful the species, the better the fuel for his evolution. At this time, Su Lin slowly walked out of his own territory while marching with the wolves, and began to set foot in the cold north. Surin looked around in this area. Except for some polar bears and ice creatures, there were no signs of other creatures' activities. It can be seen that this place is not suitable for the reproduction of ordinary species. After all, this place already truly belongs to the Arctic ice sheet, and there is not even the slightest piece of land. It can be seen that the place where the deer herd and the different species of muskox migrated should be farther away. But for some polar bears encountered along the way, Su Lin let Xiao by, and when Xiong tried to tame them. I believe these polar bears know how to choose under the deterrence of wolves on such a scale. In fact, it is also good for polar bears to join the wolf pack. In the future, as the alien species becomes stronger and stronger, the polar bear is no longer the overlord of the Arctic. It's better to join the wolf pack. Maybe there are certain risks in following the wolf pack, but it's much better than their hard survival. Roar, roar. After Xiaobai passed by, the other side remembered intermittent bear roars. Out of the deterrence of more than a dozen bears, and a huge pack of wolves behind Xiaobai, The vast majority of polar bears surrendered in the end, but the few polar bears along the way will not all succumb. One of the polar bears, which has a full level 16 attribute, and can hunt white whales in the sea, resisted. A level 16 polar bear is not weak. The roar of the furious bear echoed in the cold North Pole. Wing Sung is fighting and fighting with this polar bear. Even if it's just a warm bear at level 13, it's stronger than this polar bear in terms of numbers alone, not to mention it has talent. In addition, more than a dozen bears around Xiaobai besieged and killed. In a short time, the polar bear was on the ice sheet. After the great changes in the world, all ordinary species who are ignorant of current affairs will inevitably end up in this way. Perhaps this polar bear used to look down on the ice field, and was the strongest overlord here. But now, it can only be reduced to blood food. After killing the polar bear, Xiaobai asked Wen Xiong to drag the polar bear to the Wolf King. No matter who hunts the prey in the wolf pack, the Wolf King has the priority to deal with it. So far, Surin has traveled and searched in this area for more than 10 hours, and traveled 200 to 300 miles, but still has not seen traces of deer or other species. So Su Lin decided to find a place to let the wolves rest for a while. As for the polar bear's body, it was a signal to Xiaobai and Little Lone Wolf that they should be distributed to the wolves and bears below. It is even colder here in the north, and the wolves have marched for so long, and the physical exertion is not small. Let them eat some food, and rest before moving forward. Leading a pack of wolves and fighting alone are different, and all aspects need to be considered. Fortunately, the wolves are better able to adapt to harsh environments, and not a single wolf fell behind. On the contrary, the wolves still maintained the passionate fighting spirit they had just set off. The meat of this polar bear weighs more than 1,000 catties. Even if there are more than 300 wolves, each one can get 2 or 3 catties. More than enough supplements for today's consumption. Surin didn't care much about the flesh and blood of ordinary species. Distributing it can also keep the wolves' fighting spirit high. All. The wolves howled one after another, expressing surprise to the Wolf King. At the same time, the fighting spirit in the pair of wolf eyes became more intense. The thinking of the wolves has always been simple. Gathering together to fight and hunt, and to survive under the cruel laws of nature is the greatest reason. So food has always been the top priority, in the eyes of the wolves. As long as there is food to eat and companions, it is enough for them. At present, Su Lin signaled the Little Lone Wolf to arrange a few wolf clans for night vigil, and then asked the rest of the wolf clan to find a relatively sheltered place under a huge ice wall to rest. In this barren ice sheet, species are rare and the wind is icy cold. And this area is very vast. This ice field area reaches the extreme, at least has more than 3 million square kilometers. The area ruled by the Salin wolves is hundreds of times larger. Coupled with the smell and traces of the deer along the road, they have been blown away by the cold wind. Therefore, it is not easy to find traces of deer in this vast ice sheet. But where there are adventures, there are bound to be aliens. And when the wolves came over with such momentum, they would definitely encounter some powerful hunters in this area. At that time, based on the smell and tracks of these powerful hunters, there may be some clues. While thinking, Su Lin came to an ice wall surrounded by a pack of wolves. As the Wolf King, he is naturally the top priority of the wolf pack. Such a close-fitting surrounding can be said to be protected to the extreme by the wolves. Surrounded by many wolves, it also provided Su Lin with a lot of warmth. In fact, considering Su Lin's current combat strength, he didn't need these protections at all, but he didn't refuse them either. In addition, the hair on Su Lin's body is very thick, not to mention the severe cold. Even the severe cold of 2 or 3 degrees below zero can withstand it. The rest of the ordinary wolves are in 2s and 3s. Cuddling together to keep warm. Little Lone Wolf arranges patrols and guards against Fan Lang. As the second wolf, Fan Wolf, with more than a dozen wolves, is watching every move of the surrounding vigilantly at the outermost edge of the wolf pack. Su Lin, who was among the wolves at this time, did not eat the flesh and blood of the polar bear. With a thought, he took out a gift serum. This talent serum was obtained when the mysterious iceberg devoured the bile of the alien polar bear. At present, the hidden talent cannot be strengthened. Therefore, whether it is strengthening the hunting or strengthening the healing talent, it can bring extremely powerful increases. Ding! Is the talent serum used? Use? Su Lin didn't hesitate at all. After using it, the very comfortable warmth reappeared on the wolf's body. Now Su Lin didn't look forward to the enhanced hunting. This time, although the hunting talent is extremely powerful, the bonus to combat power is unmatched by other talents. But the healing talent, the improvement of survivability is also very against the sky. These 2 talents have given him a lot of help. While Su Lin was waiting for the strengthening, he was surprised to find that this warm current had been flowing for a long time again. but it was still not absorbed by the wolf body. Hey, another new talent. Su Lin's golden brown wolf eyes suddenly flashed a bright light. Really, this warm current changed suddenly, changing like a flame. The burning pain that I have experienced rises again. This time Su Lin could already bear the pain. Under this pain, a new innate energy appeared in the huge wolf body again. Currently he has heal, hunt, and stealth. It can be said that it is a combination of recovery, strength and assassination. Su Lin really wanted to see the new talent that appeared again. What was it? He hoped it would be a group-boosting skill, just like the talent of King Deer and Xiaohu's description. In this pain, about half an hour passed. Only then did the flames completely pour into Su Lin's wolf body. Immediately afterwards, a light gray message prompt appeared in front of his eyes. Ding! Congratulations on getting the talent of Howling Wolves, level D. Wolf Howl. Seeing this reminder, Su Lin also felt the pain in his body gradually disappear. This talent is obviously not a group increase talent, but he doesn't have much regret. After all, it is very rare to be able to obtain new talents. You must know that talent serums only have a 10% chance of obtaining new talents. Wolf Roar, D level, uprootable, active talent. It can launch a wolf howling sound wave attack. The attack speed is the speed of sound, and the killing range is 3 kilometers. If it is upgraded to the top level, this talent can evolve into Serious Howling Moon. Number of attacks, 10 times. Cooldown, 24 hours. Note, after more than 10 times, it will enter the cooling time. During this time, if you use the talent of Howling Wolf forcibly, a large amount of vitality will be deducted. The introduction of Lang Xiao's new talent appeared in front of Su Lin. Hey! Sonic Attack. Seeing this talent, Su Lin was a little surprised. Relatively speaking, if the attack speed was only the speed of sound, it would not be as fast as the attack speed after he started hunting. But the biggest advantage of the Wolf Howl talent is the area of kill. There is no way to hide from the sonic attack. There is no way to avoid it. So Su Lin is quite satisfied with this talent. With such a talent, even if he wants to capture the birds in the sky in the future, it will be much easier. At this time, after Su Lin finished reading the newly acquired talents, a pair of golden brown eyes scanned the wolves. After eating the flesh and blood of the polar bears, the noisy pack of wolves gradually quieted down. After about an hour or so, the wolves snuggled together in 2s and 3s and began to sleep. This made Su Lin give up his plan to try out the power of the howling wolves. He stretched his huge wolf body, and then began to rest on the ice wall. And the wolf girl, who finished her meal, came to Su Lin's side bouncing around, and snuggled up to sleep with him. Wolf girl is still very dependent on Su Lin. Su Lin didn't say much, but a pair of golden brown eyes looked at the pitch-black night. Still thinking about the direction of the wolves' search in the future, he brought hundreds of wolves to conquer this time, not to visit the mountains to enjoy the snow. Su Lin wanted to find out where this adventure in the cold north was located. In thinking, time passed slowly. The pack of wolves all began to fall asleep, except for the rustling of the cold wind. There was a dead silence. Su Lin also started to rest, but in the icy and snowy field, he still reserved 2 points of perception for vigilance. Under the polar night, everything is lonely. There is no difference between day and night, and most of them have lost the concept of time. In a flash, it was a few days. The wolves also searched the north for several days, but they still haven't found any trace of the deer. But Su Lin's extremely sensitive senses could sense the prying eyes of powerful hunters nearby. Su Lin stood on the snowy and glanced around, but he didn't find it. It should be the talent of lurking, holding back breath, etc. No matter how strong the senses of this kind of talent are, they can only faintly feel the sense of voyeurism, and it is impossible to find them unless the opponent takes the initiative to expose his figure. However, there are powerful hunters watching, which means that the wolves are heading in the right direction. The temperature in this area has dropped to -50 or 60 degrees under the polar night. At such a temperature, it is difficult for ordinary hunters to even obtain food. Therefore, those who can become aliens definitely have some adventures. This temperature also makes the common species in this area only some polar bears and ice creatures. In these few days, the biggest achievement of the wolves is to tame 8 polar bears. The bear clan under Xiao Bei's command reached more than 20 bears at one time. A total of more than 20 bears gathered together, all bears above level 10, so even ordinary species have a lot of power. Today, Xiao Bai and Wen Xiong are recruiting a female polar bear. This female polar bear with a cub, they are common species. It stands to reason that their combination is the most difficult to survive in the cold North Pole. It's just that 2 polar bears, one big and one small, not only didn't agree to Xiao Bai and Wen Xiong's surrender, but glared at them angrily. The sound of fury resounded again and again. After successive attempts to persuade them to surrender failed, Xiaobai and Wenxiong's pair of jet-black bear eyes gradually brought out a trace of ruthlessness and ferocity. During these days, they followed Surin and were already used to killing and bloodshed. On the way of the wolves' conquest, how many polar bears fell down? If you don't surrender, you will die. The journey of wolves has always been either friend or enemy. But just when Xiaobai and Wenxiong were about to make a move, suddenly, a powerful and extremely dangerous aura suddenly rose in the hearts of every bear clan, especially Xiaobai and Wenxiong, who are different species. Their keen sixth sense is frantically sending them dangerous signals. Pung! I saw that the thick and hard ice layer was suddenly punched out by a powerful force to break through a huge ice hole. Crash! The warm sea water at about 0 degrees gushes out from the icebreaker. Then a huge polar bear with a full size of 6 or 7 meters climbed up from the icebreak. In its mouth is a killer whale with a full length of 3 meters. After landing, the huge polar bear threw the killer whale carcass in the direction of the polar bear mother and child. Pung! There are killer whale carcasses weighing several tons, and the thick ice is shaking. Immediately afterwards, this huge polar bear, whose body was covered in blood, looked at Xiaobai and Wenxiong, who were persecuting the polar bear mother and child with a pair of jet-black bear eyes. When the huge polar bear watched them, even Wenxiong, who has evolved into a different species and is extremely powerful, feels as if he is being targeted by the of death. Ordinary polar bears can hunt white whales, but this polar bear is strong enough to hunt killer whales. Feeds on killer whales. Can you imagine how arrogant this polar bear is? But it was at this time that Xiaobai and Wenxiong realized why the polar bear mother and son were not at all timid in the face of so many bears of their own. It turns out that there is such a terrifying alien polar bear. After this alien species of polar bear came ashore, it didn't move at all. It was just scanning everything in front of it with its high IQ. Soon, when many bear tribes put on a defensive posture and confronted this alien polar bear, the eyes of this alien polar bear suddenly withdrew from them because it suddenly noticed a huge white wolf standing proudly on the high snow in the distance. Wolf clan. Wolves. A pair of pitch-black eyes of the heterogeneous polar bear suddenly emitted a terrifying light. If it's just a gathering and fighting between the bear tribes, it can still deal with it. But if you add a pack of wolves, especially one led by such a terrifying white wolf, he was afraid that even if he came here, it would be difficult to protect his spouse and cub squan behind him. At this time, Su Lin's golden-brown wolf eyes also showed a cold light. Under the dark polar night, the eyes of this polar bear collided fiercely. Very strong. Finally, a mutant with a head-like appearance appeared. Su Lin led the pack of wolves in the cold north, searching for several days. This polar bear was the first alien species he encountered. This polar bear with a huge body of 6 to 7 meters is not weaker than the polar bear in the mysterious iceberg. There are also tons of flesh and blood. Once hunted, the flesh and blood of different species alone is a great harvest for the wolves. Thinking about it, in this cold northern ice field, it is difficult to evolve to this point just by devouring ordinary species. So the appearance of this heterogeneous polar bear means that the wolves are not far from the place of adventure. It also means that the wolves are not far from the deer with a blood feud. This made Su Lin's momentum, which had been dormant for a long time, rise for the first time after the expedition to the north. The wolves under his command felt the arrogance rising from the huge wolf body of the Wolf King. Under this tyrannical arrogance, they suddenly became excited. Then, following the Wolf King's gaze, he looked at the huge polar bear not far away that was covered in blood. The morale that had been drained away in the past few days of doing nothing suddenly burst out. The sound of howling wolves exploded under the polar night. 100 wolves howl. The aura of the wolves also boiled with the howling of wolves. A pack of wolves who were originally scattered all over the place quickly gathered around the Wolf King after hearing the howling of wolves. The peak speed of wolves running is extremely fast, even for ordinary wolves. More than 10 meters per second is normal. In an instant, one after another of the wolves gathered around the Wolf King. They are also on the high snow slope, looking down at the huge polar bear, who is looking down at the Wolf King. There is no fear in the pair of wolf eyes. With the Wolf King, they are not afraid of any hunters. It only takes an order from the Wolf King, and hundreds of wolves can swarm forward. Ordinary wolves can feel the power of this alien polar bear. This is a powerful opponent that they may not even be able to break through the flesh. But the wolves never go head-to-head. Since this huge polar bear obviously wants to protect the weak mother and child behind it, it means that this polar bear has a weakness. It can't be that little cub is also fierce and invincible, right? Therefore, once the wolves start hunting, they will never be morally benevolent. They have always been omnipotent, All pain points and weaknesses of all opponents will be fully exploited by the wolves until their opponents are dragged down alive and crushed. Once they swarmed away, the main target of the wolves was definitely not the alien polar bear, but the pair of polar bear mother and child. They will use the polar bear mother and child to make this heterogeneous polar bear exhausted and finally dragged to death by the wolves in this Arctic ice sheet. At this time, above the ice layer, this polar bear, which is capable of hunting orcas, felt the sound of 100 wolves howling and the tyrannical pressure transmitted from the huge body of the white wolf. Those incomparably pitch-black bear eyes were also filled with solemn colors. It can feel the invincible arrogance that will kill from the sound of the wolf howling. This is also the first time it has felt such a tyrannical pressure, since it swallowed a few green faint fruits in this mysterious ice area with lush aquatic plants, and gained an extremely tyrannical strength. It originally thought that it had gained unprecedented power, and was the well-deserved overlord of this area. Those of the same kind, who dared to compete with themselves for spouses and territories in the past can only shy away when they see it. It can not only hunt white whales, but even killer whales, known as the top predators of the ocean. The alien polar bear once thought that its opponent might only exist in the mysterious watergrass ice over there, but it never thought that facing this pack of wolves, it could smell a strong breath of death. Roar! This alien species of polar bear began to be unable to resist the atmosphere suppressed by the roar of wolves. Its huge bare paws slammed on the thick ice layer, and cracks appeared in the ice and snow that smashed the ice layer. Then the huge bear clan stood upright, looking at the wolf clan all over the mountains and plains. The deep bear roar also exploded. It's just that its bear's roar is too weak, and it can't compete with the wolf's howl at all. The huge arrogance of the wolves and the tyrannical pressure brought by the white wolf king are like black clouds overwhelming the city, attacking the polar bear family. It is also at this time that the female polar bear and her cubs feel the full picture of the wolf pack. They did smell the wolves just now, but they never imagined that there are so many wolves around them. What kind of wolf pack is this? When did a pack of wolves with such monstrous flames appear in this area? Originally, the angry sound of the female polar bear just now was also calling for her mate. It feels extremely gratified to have a spouse who can take care of itself and its cubs. You should know that other ordinary male polar bears will disappear after mating. This mate is extremely powerful, and once gave it too much protection, and also gave it endless food. It's just that under this pack of wolves with such arrogance, the tall and strong body of the spouse seems to be unable to provide it with the slightest sense of security. Under the gaze of hundreds of pairs of wolf eyes, the female polar bear and her cub couldn't help shivering. In addition to the hundreds of wolves, the 20 or so bears led by Xiaobai and Wenxiong also dispersed in an instant. Pairs of bear eyes looked at the huge body of this alien polar bear, and they were also full of cold light. Originally, he only wanted to kill a pair of disobedient polar bear mother and son, but he never thought that such an existence would be provoked. Facing such a large and tyrannical polar bear, Xiaobai and Wenxiong did not overpower themselves to surrender. Such a heterogeneous polar bear that can hunt killer whales, who else in the entire wolf pack can crush it except the wolf king? But all new bear clan members have to start from the bottom. This is the iron law set by the wolf king, so they didn't even think about recruiting this alien polar bear. Only kill. Originally, they also wanted to kill this pair of unyielding polar bear mother and child. Since this alien polar bear has also come, then kill them all. With the backing of the wolf king behind them, what are they afraid of? At this time, Su Lin looked down at this alien polar bear from a high position. He didn't intend to do anything this time. Although this polar bear was very strong, it was only at the level of the alien polar bear in the mysterious iceberg. With Su Lin's current strength, if he wanted to kill him, he would be like a pig butcher. But he's going to test the wolves with this exotic polar bear. The wolves still lack experience in hunting powerful alien species. Following Su Lin's earth-shattering wolf howl, it sounded under the polar night. The little lone wolf immediately swarmed away with his pack of wolves. Hundreds of wolves swarmed, and Fan Lang and Kin beside the little lone wolf, swarmed towards the family of 3 with the arrogance of crushing everything. Xiao Hui also followed closely behind. As for the wolf sister, Hu Bai and cousin, Su Lin never let them step into this hunt, but let them follow him to protect. For the wolf tribe, who followed him first, he still has some selfishness, and he doesn't want to be damaged in the battle. Especially my cousin. Her talent is healing, which is equivalent to a life guarantee for the wolves. With the cousin here, any injuries of the wolves can be recovered quickly. This can make the wolves fearless even more. This is also the main reason why Su Lin didn't let his cousin go to the front line to fight. At this moment, the battlefield in the Arctic ice field is about to explode. The little lone wolf, who has been promoted to level 13, has a speed of more than 50 meters per second. Running wildly on the Arctic ice field at such a speed, it is like a gray-purple lightning. All. The little lone wolf howled. A pair of wolf claws popped out completely, and the sharp wolf claws brought out an indestructible arrogance towards this alien polar bear. Fan Lang and Broken each leading more than 20 wolves, ran towards the mother and child behind this alien polar bear. There was a touch of bloodthirsty cruelty in both pairs of wolf eyes. They are wolves, known for its cunning and viciousness. Taking the lead in hunting cubs, women and children has already become the norm for wolves to hunt. Before and after the little lone wolf rushed up, Xiaobai and Wenxiong also followed the little lone wolf with growls and cooperated. The little lone wolf is second only to the Wolf King in terms of prestige and battle strength among the wolves, coming so charged with endless fierce arrogance. Pung! The little lone wolf's quick paw hit the head of the alien grizzly bear directly, but this claw, which looks fierce, only tore off the polar bear's thick hair, not even the polar bear's flesh. There are only a few very shallow scratches, and the scratches only print some bright red. Roar! But this blow still completely enraged this alien species of polar bear. During the long roar, it raised its huge bear paw and threw it directly at the little lone wolf. Pung! While waving the bear's paw, the little lone wolf narrowly avoided it. Directly smashed the ice layer that is already full of cracks. Crash! The ice shattered and the sea water gushed out. For a while, many wolves were also blocked by the cracked ice. It can be seen that this alien polar bear was not only fighting back just now, but also thinking about how to do its best to protect its spouse and cubs behind it. It has evolved into a different species, and it already has some feelings for its offspring and spouse, especially the cub, which has inherited its genes and blood. Roar! The polar bear howled. After the brief confrontation just now, it could feel that the polar bear's defense was extremely strong. Head-to-head confrontation won't work, and it's also a big taboo for wolves. All. So the little lone wolf let out a long roar and began to command the battle. Fan Lang and Remnant Tear dispersed in an instant, bypassing the cracked ice and heading towards the mother and child behind the alien polar bear again. At present, the wolves are not unable to kill this powerful polar bear. If you pay a heavy price, you can drag this polar bear alive to exhaustion with hunting tactics. It's just that the price is too painful. The blood and lives of the wolves should not be sacrificed so cheaply. We have to look at the polar bear mother and child. In the cruel nature, the weak never get sympathy, but killings. All. As the wolves howled wildly again, Fan Lang and Kenner also split into two sides, outflanking the polar bear mother and child. Roar! The heterogeneous polar bear also sensed the tactics of the wolves, and it roared angrily. But the wolves have no fear at all. This makes it dance a pair of thick bear paws, ready to smash all the nearby ice. At that time, it will see how the wolves will come again. But just when it hit the ice hard for the first time, and its body was just standing firm, there was a hint of cruelty and ferocity in the little lone wolf's eyes. Why hold back? Do you really think that the polar bear mother and child must be caught to be restrained? As long as it can distract the polar bear's attention, interfere with its combat power, and prevent it from fighting with all its heart, it is called containment. All. With the long howl of the little lone wolf, it attacked this alien polar bear again like a gust of wind. Xiao Hui, who had already arrived on the battlefield, also attacked the alien polar bear from the other side, like a gray gust of wind. Pung! The little lone wolf hit the polar bear's left eye with its paw. The defense of the eyes is the weakest part of the body. Under this blow, blood flowed from the polar bear's left eye. Roar! It fought back at the little lone wolf in pain. It's just that just when it focused on the little lone wolf, Xiao Hui also arrived in front of him in an instant, and even his whole body was emitting a glint of gray light. Xiao Hui knew that he was not as powerful as little lone wolf, so he activated his talent right away. The latent talent makes its speed soar. Pung! Like a gray lightning, it also directly hit the polar bear's other eye. Roar! The severe pain made the polar bear completely go berserk, and a pair of bear paws began to wave wantonly. The claws on the bear paws pierced the air with a scream. It's just that after little lone wolf and Xiao Hui succeeded in one blow, they retreated long ago. The speed of the bear tribe is a natural shortcoming. Even if this alien polar bear is extremely powerful, its speed is only more than 40 meters per second. At this moment, the cooperation of the wolves is vividly displayed. The eyes of this alien polar bear were destroyed in an instant. Next, since this heterogeneous polar bear is really blind, then let it listen to the screams of its spouse and cubs, and it will go crazy when it comes to think of it. The more furious the prey, the more excited the wolves will be, because anger will quickly consume the physical strength of the prey, making them lose more accurate judgments. All. The howling of wolves exploded endlessly. At this moment, Su Lin, who was standing on the snowy slope, just glanced at the battlefield where the wolves were hunting, and then looked away, because what he cares more about is the feeling of these nearby prying eyes. I really want to see. With this alien polar bear attracting the main combat power of the wolves, among these hidden ones, which one can't help but take the lead. Su Lin knew that he was definitely very close to that place of adventure. At the same time, the mighty pack of wolves has already attracted the attention of too many powerful hunters. But Su Lin led the pack of wolves here this time for revenge. It is destined to be accompanied by blood and killing. At this time, as the howling of wolves on the battlefield became more and more crazy and the low and painful roar of bears, Su Lin's senses were extremely powerful, and he could keenly sense that the surrounding prying eyes were slowly approaching here. In the world of ice and snow, fights are often on the verge of breaking out. As the vague sense of spying approached, Su Lin didn't move. He is waiting for these hidden hunters to show up. He wants to see how important these hunters are in this cold area. At this time, the wolves below hunted the polar bears of different species more intensely. Ordinary wolves, led by Fan Lang and Ken headed towards the female polar bear and polar bear cub. Along with the wolves' conquest, there are several bears. Xiao Bai also ordered a few bears to help the wolves capture the polar bear mother and child. This can minimize the casualty rate of the wolves. After all, Fan Lang and Broken Ear are only level 7 aliens. Even with the assistance of a pack of wolves, it would take some time to take down an adult female polar bear. But with the leader of the bear clan, the speed is much faster. Roar! The polar bear mother and son, who had already been terrified, could only tremble under the siege of wolves and bears. The fearful roar of the bear was quickly drowned out by the howling of the wolves. The biting of the wolves, the slapping of the bears, the cuts of flesh and blood, and the painful wailing of the polar bear mother and her child, all resounded in the dark night. The attribute value of a female polar bear is only 13, or 4 levels. Even if she desperately resists for her cubs, she will be useless in the face of so many wolves. Pung! Soon, this desperate female polar bear was slapped on the huge bear's head by a bear clan in the wolf pack. This palm was strong, and in an instant, several bloodshots appeared in the female polar bear's jet black eyes. This palm shocked its consciousness for a while. It also made the wolves directly step over the female polar bear, and came to the polar bear cub. Pung! Ken, who rushed over first, blinded the polar bear cub, who wanted to resist with one claw. In terms of ferocity and tyranny, Broken Ear is even worse than Little Lone Wolf. Its pair of light blue wolf eyes are full of ferocious killing intentions. The more blood splattered and the howling of the prey, the more it can arouse the tyranny in its heart. The remnant wolf was the first to succeed, and gave a long howl to signal the wolves to quiet down. Then he clawed hard again, blinding the bear cub's other eye as well. Since all polar bears of different species were beaten blind by the alpha wolf, the whole family should share well and woe. The meaning of cruelty and tyranny is vividly displayed. A pair of sharp wolf claws were still in the blind eyes of the polar bear cub, stirring viciously, causing the polar bear cub to be in extreme pain. The cub's wailing sound made the rest of the besieged bears feel a chill. Such severe pain is unimaginable for a cub, who is well protected by the bear's father and bear's mother, and it directly defeats the defense line. It hurts so much. How could it, a cub, experience such a level of torture? Under the severe pain, it has forgotten to resist, and can only struggle with its body instinct. It wanted to cry bitterly, but its eyes had already been completely torn blind by the mutilated ear. In the eyes of the flesh mold lake, there is only blood flowing. PFFT. Remnants claws savagely again, and directly snapped the eyes of this polar bear cub flesh muhu. It hurts so much. This kind of torture, not to mention just a polar bear cub, even a foreign species can't survive it. At this time, after the howling of the wolves began to subside, the miserable howling of the polar bear cub made every bear's heart feel a little numb. The howling of the same kind is the most capable of defeating the same kind. Many bears looked at the disabled ear, with a trace of fear in their eyes. This is the wolf family. This is the wolf pack. Do everything you can. Too cruel. But such a massacre made excitement and madness appear in the eyes of Ken and the wolves. This miserable howl also reached the ears of that alien polar bear. The cub howled so miserably that it was completely furious. That is its child, the inheritance of its genes and blood. Although the heterogeneous polar bears cannot see what happened to their cubs, they still know that their cubs are being cruelly killed by wolves with their keen sense of smell and hearing. Roar! In its fury, it let out a long growl, completely suppressing the pain from its eyes. The deep roar of the bear exploded over the cold North Pole. In fact, apart from being blinded in both eyes, the rest of its combat power was not damaged much. The attacks of Little Lone Wolf and Little Hui couldn't effectively kill it at all. In addition, the bear clan's sense of smell is much more sensitive than sight. Relying on his extremely strong sense of smell, he smelled the smell of the powerful wolf clan attacking him again. Roar! Accompanied by a furious roar, it slapped the wolf clan fiercely. This is the little lone wolf. Since Xiao Hui had turned on the lurking, except for the sound of ice and snow when running, the smell had already completely dissipated. Only the little lone wolf has a powerful wolf aura, without any concealment. Seeing the majestic slap, the little lone wolf couldn't stop due to its powerful, charging inertia. Even if it dodged, it would be too late. But there was no fear in the eyes of the little lone wolf, and an expression of extreme ferocity burst out. With a rough wolf howl, it activated its talent in an instant. A dark gray fluorescent light enveloped its whole body. Then quickly restrained himself. The light blue wolf eyes of the little lone wolf also turned into dark gray eyes. It seems that there is no emotion, only senhin, and killing. With the addition of this powerful talent, there is a fierce light in the eyes of the little lone wolf. Touch it. Although it knows that this alien species of polar bear is powerful, it is by no means an opponent of its own ability. But now under the powerful charging inertia, it can't stop at all. Only touch it. Pung! There was a huge crash of flesh and blood, accompanied by howling wolves and bears in the splash of ice and snow. Little lone wolf's talent is dire wolf, which is a talent that becomes more courageous the more he fights. The more he is injured, the more bonuses he gets. But now the bonus of this talent is not much, so in the face of the furious slap of the alien grizzly bear, after the little lone wolf resisted, the wolf's body, which was more than 4 meters long, was slammed and sent flying more than 10 meters away. Along the way, a deep gully was drawn out of the ice and snow on the ground. Even with the talent turned on, it still couldn't resist this alien polar bear. Boom! As the body of the little lone wolf crashed to the ground, it began to gulp out blood under the force of the strong shock. Even the bone in the right paw felt a sharp pain. It's just that the severe pain was quickly suppressed by the mad wolf's talent. The little lone wolf's eyes became more and more ferocious, and the killing intent on his body became more and more intense. Seeing that the alien polar bear thought it had gotten rid of its entanglement, and was about to pounce on the pack of wolves hunting its cubs, the little lone wolf roared again and charged forward. It's just that its speed now has another peak breakthrough, more than 60 meters per second. This is the terrifying bonus of the mad wolf talent. As long as it doesn't die, it will become stronger as it fights. Unless the opponent's terrifying attack power can exceed the tolerance limit of the wolf's talent. In addition, there is the Wolf King watching from behind, leading so many wolf clans, and there are Xiao Wei and many bear clans to help out. How can it fail? Amid the rough and loud howling of the giant wolf, the little lone wolf charged directly at this alien polar bear viciously. No matter the speed of the little lone wolf's recovery, it was far beyond the expectation of this alien polar bear. The heterogeneous polar bear could not have imagined that a wolf clan that had just suffered a full-strength blow from him not only seemed to be unscathed, but also seemed to attack him with a higher level of strength and arrogance. Before it had time to guard against it, it was directly and severely knocked down on the nose by the little lone wolf. Nose, smell. This blow caused blood to flow from the nose of the heterogeneous polar bear, and the extremely sensitive sense of smell could only smell the strong smell of blood at the nose. Roar! The sense of smell is damaged, which makes it fall into madness. The vision has failed, and the sense of smell is weak and then fails. It really can only wait to be killed like a headless chicken. So the heterogeneous polar bear knew that he had reached a very dangerous situation. With the roar of the bear tribe, this alien polar bear also activated its talent. Originally, it wanted to save its talents to deal with the huge white wolf on the snowy slope. But I didn't expect that the wolves under the white wolf alone would be so difficult to deal with. Blood Rage talent. The talent opened by this alien species of polar bear is Blood Rage. A blood-colored fluorescence enveloped its huge bear family, and then its eyes, which had been scratched by Xiao Hui and little lone wolf, actually suppressed the injuries under this fluorescence. A pair of huge blood-stained bear eyes opened suddenly. There is not only bright red blood in the eyes, but also the scarlet brought by talent. The nose and the wound solidified in an instant. This talent made its strength increase to much in an instant. The tyrannical arrogance rising all over his body made Xiao Bai and Wenxiong, who were rushing to the side, want to suffocate. Too strong. This alien polar bear is too powerful. At present, only the little lone wolf, who has activated the mad wolf talent, has not been affected. A rough wolf howl made them recover from the suffocation, and started shopping with this alien polar bear again. On one side were wolves, and more than a dozen bears, and on the other side was this heterogeneous polar bear, that had broken through level 20. Under the extreme night, the two sides looked at each other fiercely, and then rush towards each other with an extremely tragic momentum. It's just that the sound of mutilated ears killing cubs behind it is still tugging at the heartstrings of the alien polar bear. Pung! The sound of flesh and blood crashing and the miserable howling of polar bear cubs resounded through this cold area from time to time, but it was also the time when the shopping between the two sides was the most intense. Su Lin keenly felt a sense of spying, rushing towards him at an extremely fast speed. Su Lin led the pack of wolves to conquer and kill, all the way in this cold area. There are already several polar bears who have fallen under the conquest of wolves. Since there is really an adventure here, no matter which side of the hunter it is, it will not look at such a large and powerful pack of wolves to get a share of the pie. For these powerful hunters' attacks, Surin had expected it. But he is fearless. In the cold world of ice and snow, in the cruel nature, the weak have always been preyed upon by the strong. As long as you are strong enough, all adventures will belong to the wolves. Is it finally unbearable? At this time, Su Lin's golden brown eyes burst out with a cold light in an instant. He turned the wolf's head slightly, stood on the high snow and looked directly behind him. Even under the extreme night, Su Lin still saw a pale gray shadow almost like lightning, running towards him directly. The speed is extremely fast, already vaguely reaching a speed of more than 200 meters per second. Whoosh! The huge howling sound piercing the air also completely exposed its size to Su Lin's vision. With such a fast speed, not to mention ordinary hunters, even Su Lin could only feel a flash in front of his eyes, and this pale gray shadow came to him. Roar! A sharp roar suddenly exploded in the cold air. It was at this time that Su Lin finally saw the true face of this pale gray shadow. Lynx. A Xenolynx, a female Xenolynx. Lynxes are natural hunters. They may be small in size, but their ferocity and viciousness are often stronger than any hunter. And this alien lynx has a huge size of 4 or 5 meters. With a sharp roar, its sharp claws smashed directly towards Su Lin's neck. Seal the throat with one claw. For lynx, it doesn't like to hurt the prey's eyes, nose and other vital points. It likes to stay still, and if it moves, it will kill with one blow. In its pair of purple-blue eyes, there was a cold killing intent, but it underestimated the opponent this time. Su Lin's reaction speed far exceeds it all. Accompanied by an earth-shattering wolf howl, Su Lin dodged sideways, dodging the fierce attack of the lynx. But the lynx attack still touched the edge of his neck. It's just that the hair all over Su Lin's body has also entered a fighting state, and the thick hair has become harder than steel. When the lynx's claws touched the thick hair, there was a sound of sharp friction like gold and iron. The sharpness and strength of the claws never broke Su Lin's hair. At this time, the alien lynx missed in one blow, and its strong charge made it continue to rush out for dozens of meters, before stabilizing its figure. Then a pair of purple-blue eyes scanned the battlefield, although it was very unwilling to miss the killing blow just now. But it is still a break. Without the slightest hesitation, this alien lynx is very smart. It knows that lurking and attacking are what lynxes are good at. So even though it possessed extremely powerful combat power, it didn't intend to fight Su Lin to the death in this ice and snow field. Get ready to flee the battlefield. Not only is this arrogance of the wolf clan unsightly, but many hunters have already been eyeing it. It was only attracted by the white wolf's flesh and blood full of essence, and the flesh and blood of several alien wolves. The wolves have always been on the hunting list of the lynx. The urge to hunt wolves seems to come from the depths of the lynx gene. Both are fierce hunters, and their territories often intersect with each other, so the fight between wolves and lynxes has been going on for a long time. In many cases, lynx has been hailed as a wolf-slaying machine, which may be a bit too much. But under lurking and raiding, most of the wolves at the same level are no match for the lynx. But since he didn't get the flesh and blood of this white wolf, the xenogenic lynx didn't plan to stay for a long time. After all, stamina and vitality are the weaknesses of the lynx. It cannot withstand the hunting of wolves, like the alien polar bear. But just when this alien lynx was about to leave, suddenly a tyrannical killing intent fell on it directly. Powerful senses are frantically warning it. This made the alien lynx turn its head abruptly, and suddenly saw the pair of golden brown eyes of the majestic white wolf king staring at him. Not only did the white wolf king escape its fatal blow, even the tyrannical killing intent emanating from its huge wolf body seemed to have no intention of letting it go. Ever since the heterogeneous lynx became a heterogeneous species, with its spouse relying on the fruits in the lush area before the world changed, it seldom has such a strong sense of danger. Roar! This made the alien lynx roar again, breaking through the oppressive feeling covered by the strong killing intent, and then launched at full speed at a peak speed of more than 200 meters per second. Lynx didn't stay too long, and wanted to rely on the speed bonus brought by the latent talent to rush out of this area. It's just that when it just turned around and ran away, Not only did it see the surrounding wolves encircling it, but even there were bursts of roaring sounds behind it. Sonic boom. This is a huge sonic boom caused by a speed exceeding the speed of sound. Clouds of sonic booms also appeared in the cold Arctic air. Su Lin was running wildly, and his speed had briefly surpassed the speed on the panel. This is also the first time he didn't activate the hunting talent, and his speed directly broke through the speed of sound. The distance between the alien lynx and Su Lin was only 100 meters, and in just a second or two, even though the alien lynx ran desperately, it was still chased by Su Lin. In the cruel nature, everyone must be prepared to die if the hunt fails. In Su Lin's golden brown eyes, the rising killing intent became more and more intense. Since this alien lynx jumped out first, it is naturally impossible for Su Lin to let it go like this. Such a huge alien lynx, even if it is reserved for the blood of the wolves, is enough to make the wolves' strength to a higher level. What's more, Su Lin's battle is to kill chickens and monkeys. He led the pack of wolves just to get a share of the action, and to kill the rebellious deer herd. He wants to let all the hunters around here know that they will die if they dare to stand in the way of the wolves. This alien lynx weighs at least 1,000 catties, which is lighter than wolves of the same size, but the powerful combat power contained in its body cannot be underestimated. As early as the last time he hunted and killed the purple lynx, Su Lin had learned it. So when Su Lin came up, he mobilized the most peak combat power in his whole body, accompanied by an earth-shattering wolf howl. His sharp wolf claws popped out completely, and smashed hard at the pale gray back of the alien lynx. The hair of this lynx stood up completely under the huge threat. It was not as hard as Surin's hair, and it definitely surpassed the defense of ordinary bears. But under Surin's invincible wolf claws, even steel is as fragile as crushed ice. Pung! A hard blow hit the back of the alien lynx, and the huge impact made it lose its balance while running wildly. This ruthless blow contained more than 10 tons of powerful force, and directly smashed the light body of the alien lynx hundreds of meters away. The ice and snow along the way were left with a deep mark by the body of the alien lynx, and the snowflakes that were splashed by the impact were flying in all directions. This blow was so heavy that it was unimaginable for the alien lynx. The speed exceeds the speed of sound, and there is such a powerful force. Is this the tyrannical strength of this white wolf? The lynx has a body of 4 to 5 meters. After sliding for hundreds of meters, it only feels that the bones and internal organs in its body have been shattered. The sharp wolf claws also completely tore the flesh on its back. Several ribs were shattered, and even the spine was slightly cracked, and blood flowed wantonly from the wound. However, it still got up quickly, even though it was seriously injured. Even though its mouth was overflowing with blood uncontrollably, but the ferocious light in the eyes has not diminished in the slightest. Since it became a heterogeneous species with its spouse, its IQ has also become higher. In the icy and snowy North Pole, I understand a truth even more. That is the existence without begging. If you want to survive, get food, and evolve faster, you have to kill all the way. Only claws and fangs will make your opponent retreat. Begging and showing weakness will only usher in more unscrupulous bullying and killing. Roar! Under the fierceness in his heart, the alien lynx ran wildly again. It was not completely crushed by this heavy blow. As long as it can escape from the hunting of this white wolf, then relying on its latent talent in the future, there will be plenty of opportunities to avenge today's revenge. Thinking about it, this white wolf is bound to start a conflict with some other powerful hunters, and then he will take advantage of his illness and kill him. Only the lynx lurking in the dark is the deadliest threat. But this alien lynx can only think about it this way. Su Lin didn't intend to let it leave here alive at all. His peak speed broke out again, and he quickly caught up with this alien lynx, and fought with him. These alien species that grew up in the ice and snow are more powerful than the alien species in the mysterious iceberg in terms of murder and ferocity. This pale gray alien lynx might not be as good as that purple lynx, but the fierceness and ferocity that swirled around him should not be underestimated. Roar! All the howling of the lynx and the howling of the wolves intertwined under the polar night. This is a duel of speed and power, facing the speed of the Wolf King and this alien lynx. Ordinary wolves couldn't react at all, and couldn't even catch up with their two figures. Pung, pung. The sound of flesh and blood colliding resounded from time to time. Blood and snow splattered the area. This alien lynx is no match for Su Lin at all. Whether it is speed or strength, Su Lin can crush it. It's just that the vitality of this alien lynx is too tenacious, and its fierceness is also supporting it to fight against Su Lin again and again. The peak speed of the two sides is just a few miles away in an instant. This kind of duel is simply not something that ordinary species can get involved in. The vitality and stamina of this alien lynx are rapidly consumed in the fierce fighting and running. Now Su Lin's strength is so strong that it is extremely abnormal. Even if this alien lynx has been using its talents to fight against him, it is still in a dangerous situation. Terrible scars appeared one after another on Lynx's body. Su Lin has the strength to kill this alien lynx directly, but he is waiting. Only this heterogeneous lynx can't play the role of scaring chickens and monkeys. He wanted to see if there were any hunters coming out to fight. And just when the blood of this alien lynx was about to be drained, a roar of extreme anger and depression rang out. This made Su Lin's golden-brown wolf eyes emit a cold light. Soon he saw another alien lynx suddenly appearing from the ice and snow. Sure enough, it appeared. This alien lynx is a male, and from the monstrous flames of anger emanating from its eyes, Surin can feel its resentment towards him and its murderous intent. In addition, the female lynx, who was about to die under her own wolf's claws, roared like crazy when she saw the male lynx. Although Su Lin couldn't understand the roar, he vaguely knew the relationship between the two lynxes. Spouse. That's just right. The life of a lynx of different species is far from enough deterrent. Su Lin mobilized all of his combat power to its peak state again. His current physical strength far exceeds those of the two alien lynxes. The fierce fight just now didn't even consume a third of his physical strength. It's just that this male xenogenic lynx is more powerful, and the waiting time and ambush location are also very good. Roar. Accompanied by a sharp growl, the male xenomorph lynx attacked and killed at a peak speed, approaching 300 meters per second. When Surin felt it, the alien lynx was already very close to him. The long and sharp claws of the lynx tore through the cold air and let out a scream. This time, the lynx's claws still went toward Su Lin's throat, as if every lynx wanted to kill with one blow. They don't consume opponents, and they don't have the backing of a group. Therefore, one-hit kill is the most efficient and safest hunting method for them. Facing the attack, Su Lin flickered slightly, but the speed of the male lynx is still too fast, with the bonus of talent latent. It also approached 300 meters per second, not much inferior to Su Lin. Tear. The sharp claw didn't scratch the throat, but it still scratched Su Lin's chest, and there was a sound of hair and flesh being torn apart. Su Lin's chest immediately leaked dazzling blood, and a deep was cut open. Even though it had thick hair that was harder than steel, it was still scratched by the blow of this male lynx. This shows how powerful this male lynx is. This blow knocked Su Lin's 9-meter-long wolf body back 10 meters. But that's all. This strength has not even knocked Su Lin down. Su Lin, who had not been injured for a long time, after returning from the mysterious iceberg, felt the pain from his chest. And only then did he feel a sense of fierce fighting. Otherwise, it would have been like a cat catching a mouse just now, killing that female lynx. And maybe it was the male lynx blow, and the blood flowing from Surin's chest, that made the other hunters in the dark feel that there was a chance to kill this wolf king. Therefore, their two senses of spying immediately, and they rushed towards Su Lin suddenly. The male lynx also let out a roar, and came to attack again. This made Su Lin stretch his wolf body, and facing the cold killing intent coming towards him, his wolf eyes suddenly changed from golden brown to dark blue. Like the deep blue of the deep sea, a dark blue fluorescence quickly entered his body. Immediately afterwards, Su Lin let out a long roar. Originally, his ordinary wolf howl was already considered huge, but now with the added talent of wolf howl, it is even more like a serious howling at the moon. A tyrannical sound wave rushed straight ahead. Pung, pung, pung. The ice and snow all over the ground exploded amidst the howling of wild wolves. Ice crumbles and snowflakes fly. The tyrannical shock wave brought out by the roar of the wolf also made the male lynx, who charged forward, show a look of horror in the eyes. Howling. Is this the power of a howling wolf? The lynx's blood value is not high, its stamina is not high, and its weight is not high. Facing this kind of indiscriminate sonic attack, it is the most deadly. No matter how fast it is, it will be difficult to escape as long as it is not faster than the speed of sound. Pung. The wolf howling sound wave slammed into the charging alien lynx, and the powerful impact directly caused its light body to fly backwards. This sound wave shook its internal organs into cracks, and blood gushed out of its mouth without any money, drawing a beautiful line of blood in mid-air. And the two breaths that were approaching quickly also directly exposed their figure under the howling of wolves. Pung, pung. The two huge impacts also revealed their huge bodies, and then they retreated a full dozen meters. After the scattered ice and snow began to end, the two figures gradually revealed their real bodies. Looking at the two of them, Su Lin's deep blue eyes also had a real fighting and killing intent. Have they all come? This is interesting. The arrogance on Su Lin's majestic wolf body boiled and burned wantonly. These two figures are not other hunters. They are old friends of him and the wolves. A huge grizzly bear with a full length of 10 meters and a very large reindeer, stood proudly amidst the snow and ice. Under the polar night, their gazes intertwined with Su Lin's, especially this alien species of grizzly bear. Su Lin searched all over the territory of his pack of wolves but could not find it. He did not expect to run here. The ones attacking were the alien grizzly bear and the alien reindeer. Both of these two alien species have intersected with wolves before. In terms of size, this alien reindeer should be the reindeer king in Xiaohu's description. As for that alien grizzly bear, it was an old friend. Once in the cold North Pole, the first adult Su Lin encountered was this grizzly bear. After another few months, the strength of this alien grizzly bear has obviously become stronger. This is a grizzly bear that is so lucky that it is almost against the sky. In addition, there is a faint layer of gray fluorescence on the body, which completely blocks its breath. This should be a talent similar to lurking and holding breath. Relatively speaking, the talents of lurking, holding back breath, and concealment are all talents that will evolve after the alien species reaches a certain level. After all, this is also the capital to survive better in the cruel nature. Even that terrifying alien king squid has a talent of restraining breath. At this time, the fighting spirit in Su Lin's wolf eyes was completely boiling. Only such a lineup can make him feel a little challenging now. The male xenomorph lynx had already climbed up from the ice. The eyes of the three tyrannical hunters all fell on Su Lin, and the alien polar bear, who was fighting the wolves to the point of madness, also sensed the changes here, and immediately fought more intensely with all his combat power. He wanted to cooperate with these three alien species inside and out, and completely smash through this arrogance pack of wolves. Roar! The heterogeneous polar bear let out an extremely angry roar, and in its fierce fight, soon a bear family was directly hit. Pung! The tyrannical attack of the heterogeneous polar bear is not something ordinary bears can resist. With one palm, the bear was sent flying 50 or 60 meters away, and the ice piles and snow blocks along the way were smashed to pieces. This bear's mouth, nose and ears were overflowing with blood, and it seemed that he would not survive. A single blow to this bear clan was seriously wounded and dying. The cousin who had been watching the battlefield did not immediately use her talent to heal. After all, she knew that it was not one or two wolves or one or two bears that decided the outcome of this hunting battle. It's the Wolf King. The D-level healing talent can only be used once every 3 hours, so she keeps it for Surin. As for the fate of ordinary bears and ordinary wolves in the wolf pack, I can only say that they are resigned to their fate. After all, in the slaughter, let alone ordinary species, even the lives of different species are not so precious. In the hunting field, life is no longer life in many cases. The madness of this heterogeneous polar bear also made the male lynx madly attack Surin again. Its mate is still here after all. Evolved into a different species, with a higher IQ, they all began to know how to cuddle up to each other for warmth, and also understood the importance of teaming up. It is difficult to abandon the spouse and leave when it is not on the line of life and death. Roar! The male lynx let out a roar, and came towards Surin with a speed like wind. The wolf howl just now was very strong. Even ordinary bears would have to bleed the ice field when faced with such a tyrannical wolf howl. Just wanting such a powerful alien life, the power of howling wolves is far from enough. With a sharp growl, at the speed of a male lynx, it almost blinked to the front, and the female lynx also stood up from the ice and snow ground, and then endured the extreme pain of the bones being cracked all over her body, and also attacked Su Lin. Two alien lynxes attacked, one from the left and the other from the right. It's just that the attack of this female lynx is too weak, and the speed is much slower than the previous peak speed. Su Lin let out another wild howl, and the wolf howl directly shook the charge of the female lynx into the air. Along the way, they retreated tens of meters, and more blood gushed out of their mouths and noses. The blood of the lynx is not high. After fighting for such a long time, the blood on the body of this heterogeneous lynx has almost been worn down to an extremely low level. Coupled with the wolf howling attack, multiple organs of the female lynx were unable to bear it, and the skin and flesh all over her body were also attacked by the powerful sound waves, causing cracks to appear. As for this male lynx, he gritted his teeth, mobilized his whole bodice strength, and headed towards Su Lin with the attack of Howling Wolf. This made Su Lin's eyes burst out with a strong killing intent, and the sharp wolf claws also popped out completely. Now Su Lin's claws are more than 30 centimeters long, and the sharpness is enough to cut iron like mud. Pung! Under the polar night, Su Lin slammed into the male lynx's attack. The sharp claws on both sides made a striking sound in the dark night, which was extremely ear-piercing. Su Lin's full blow had a force of more than 10 tons. When dozens of tons of strength are concentrated on the wolf claws, one can imagine its invincible attack power. Even if this male lynx has a speed bonus of nearly 300 meters per second, under this violent impact. It was directly smashed and flew hundreds of meters backwards. Boom! The huge body of the male lynx rolled over a dozen somersaults. The two lynxes are no match for Surin at all. At present, Su Lin's true peak combat power is already so strong that it is almost outrageous. Roar! Young, accompanied by a bear roar that shook the air and a clear and loud deer cry. The alien grizzly bear and the alien reindeer finally joined the battlefield after hesitating for a moment. The alien grizzly, who was not very courageous in the first place, showed extraordinary bravery this time. In a pair of pitch-black bear eyes, there was a tyrannical cold light. It can be seen that this alien grizzly bear thinks that its current strength has improved enough to suppress Su Lin. I want the humiliation of Yixel, fleeing in front of Su Lin. It's just that this alien grizzly bear doesn't know that even though it has some monstrous adventures, Su Lin's adventures are no less than it. Su Lin's combat power improvement is far above it. Pung, pung. Bloody collisions and fights unfolded in this cold area in an instant. The cousin also led many wolf tribes to harass the hunters through howling wolves, and at the same time sent out a group of female wolves, who were biting the seriously injured and dying female lynx. He wants to distract his mate through this female lynx. It's just that this female lynx's ferocity, even in the state of being seriously injured and dying, still supported the bones that were almost full of cracks all over her body, and stood up again. Tear! The sharp claws directly tore an ordinary female wolf alive. Fragments of flesh and internal organs were flying in all directions under the cold polar night. The vitality and blood of this female lynx is less than 10, but even so, facing more than 10 ordinary female wolves, it was still almost crushing. This is a heterogeneous species. Its powerful and terrifying combat power and extremely tenacious vitality are beyond the reach of ordinary species. The pack of wolves howled wildly, also stimulated by the death of their companions. Under the command of the cousin, many wolves frantically killed the female lynx. At present, the entire battlefield is full of fierce fighting. Little lone wolf, little gray, little white, Wenxiong, fan wolf, etc., fight against different species of polar bears. The cousin, the wolf sister, the little gray wolf and a group of female wolves are draining the last bit of vitality of this seriously injured and dying female lynx. At the same time, their hunting really distracted the mighty male lynx, and he made frequent mistakes in the battle with Surin. The most intense battlefield nowadays is the battlefield of Su Lin. The fight between them is often several miles away. Every time they fight, the speed is extremely fast, and the level of thrills in it is far beyond any battlefield. In such a fierce fight, the consequences of being distracted can be imagined. At the short moment, when the alien lynx was distracted, Su Lin's huge wolf body approached in front of the alien lynx. Po! With a sound that pierced through flesh and blood, Surin's extremely sharp wolf claws directly pierced into the chest of this alien lynx. The bones of the Xenolynx's chest were completely shattered by this blow. The sharp wolf claws were originally aimed at the heart of the essence of this alien lynx, but they failed. Under the almost instinctive reaction of the alien lynx, it escaped the killing blow of Su Lin, but the severe pain from the chest and body still made the xenomorph lynx almost go crazy in pain. Roar! The sharp and painful roar exploded in the air. It hurts so much. Even if it is an alien species with extremely tenacious vitality, even if it is a vicious and vigorous lynx that has killed countless people, it is still howling crazily in the face of such pain. Tear! The wolf claws that Su Lin pierced were still wantonly destroying in its body. This made the alien lynx fight back against Surin almost madly while howling. Pung, pung, pung. The speed was extremely fast. One claw after another slapped on Su Lin's wolf head, and also cut through Su Lin's flesh, leaving a series of wounds. It's just that the skulls of the wolves are extremely hard, and Su Lin's skulls are more than 10 times harder than steel. These sporadic injuries couldn't hurt him at all. Su Lin's wolf eyes flashed fierceness. He wanted to resist the attack of this alien lynx, and directly tear it alive on the spot. But the IQs of the alien species, besieged this time, are all very high. Neither the alien grizzly bear, nor the alien reindeer king watched the tragic death of the alien lynx young. Roar! The roar of bears and the cry of deer exploded behind Su Lin, feeling the strong wind coming from behind. This caused a trace of anger to flash in Su Lin's eyes. No matter when, the effect brought about by cooperating with the battle is very amazing. Whether it's the wolves or the other hunters, once they start to cooperate with each other, the effect of 1 + 1 is greater than 2. The attack of the alien grizzly bear and the reindeer king behind him made Su Lin give up the idea of tearing up the alien lynx. He flicked it violently, throwing the alien lynx dozens of meters away. Pung! After the alien lynx landed, it wiped out several cracks in the ice layer that was harder than steel. The alien lynx was also seriously injured directly. Even if Su Lin didn't tear it apart, the wolf's claws still left horrific injuries in its body. There was a huge wound of a lake of flesh and blood on the chest, and blood was gushing out without money. The lynx suffered such a severe injury, and instead of rushing desperately towards the fierce fighting circle, it stood up and rushed towards the pack of wolves that were hunting its spouse. Even if it knew the different species of grizzly bear and different species of reindeer, it saved itself because it wanted to continue to attack the white wolf together. But it is afraid. Yes, facing this extremely powerful and tyrannical white wolf king, it is really scary. Such a white wolf is simply not something it can contend with. Speed has always been its advantage, but today it was crushed to the point of uselessness by this white wolf. Faster yourself, faster! That white wolf even brought out the sound of a sonic boom. If only the speed is fast, but the attack power of the white wolf has also reached the point where it is almost unrivaled. With a strength of more than 10 tons, such an attack power would be difficult for even that alien grizzly bear, let alone a lynx that is not good at frontal combat. So after fighting fiercely for a long time and being seriously injured, it became terrified. I don't want to fight anymore. Even if this mighty pack of wolves and this invincible wolf king were to force them to take a share of the rich water and grass, it would accept it. Enduring the pain in its chest, the alien lynx roared sharply and rushed towards the mate, who was being hunted by the wolves. However, the cousin, who is the second wolf, did not show any weakness and separated a group of wolves to block and attack the male lynx. There was a hint of determination in the cousin's eyes, after failing to get the order from the Wolf King. Even if it took the lives of the wolves, he still had to hold back these two alien lynxes. There was a ferocious arrogance in the eyes of every charging wolf clan. If this male lynx is still at its peak, let alone the female wolf under Sister Wolf's command, even the more than 20 elite wolves under Xiao Hu's command, can hardly stop this alien lynx at all. But now it is too badly injured by Su Lin, and the injuries on its chest and inside also make it unable to exert its peak speed and combat power at all. This made it briefly stalked by wolves. Roar! The sharp howling and the howling of the wolves were also intertwined. As for the other side, there is no harassment and killing by that alien lynx. Su Lin also fought head-to-head with these two old friends of the wolf pack. Blood splashes, ice and snow dance. The fighting area between the two sides is a mess for a radius of more than 10 kilometers. The alien powers that appear today are all very powerful. Even that alien polar bear is no exception. Such an unprecedented pinnacle melee can also be called a visual feast. Even in the war-torn outside world, it is difficult to see such a large number of powerful alien species appearing on the same battlefield. At this time, when Su Lin and his wolves were fighting with several alien species, the Arctic border, the northernmost border of Siberia, a Siberian tiger with a size of 10 meters has quietly appeared on the border of the Arctic. The arrogance of this Siberian tiger is completely restrained, and has not disturbed any species on the Arctic border. It looked like a big orange cat without the slightest threat. But the dozens of ferocious scars on this Siberian tiger's body, almost all over the body, silently tell that this is an invincible tiger that has experienced countless battles. This Siberian tiger, which did not exude any momentum, just quietly stepped into the North Pole. A pair of yellow tiger eyes scanned the cold area without any discomfort. But soon, it still looked towards Greenland, which was farther away. It has a high IQ, and before coming here, it has already known this forest and cold area. There are many residents living in the Arctic Circle on that island. It has been hunted by humans many times, and it came to the North Pole, where there is no signal, not only to hide for a period of time, but also to launch a revenge against humans here. When it steps out of the North Pole, it will become a lingering nightmare for human beings.
Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.